ABC Sport.
We begin this broadcast by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which this match will be played today and pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. We extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples listening.
AFL.
On ABC Sport, you're listening to the 2025 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio,
Sport Digital,
and on the ABC Listen app.
AFL footy returns to the Northern Territory and it's a top 8 clash in the top end. Two sides looking to stamp their finals credentials on a beautiful night here at Marara Oval in Darwin. It's the Gold Coast Suns taking on the Western Bulldogs. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Today's venue is a home away from home for the Suns. It's been a fortress, 6 straight wins in Darwin since the COVID-interrupted season. But they come in after being handed a bit of a reality check from their biggest rivals, the Brisbane Lions, in the Q Clash last week. How will they respond? For their opponents, it's Ballarat to Darwin, another road trip. The Bulldogs carrying red-hot form into tonight's clash, though. A 90-point thumping of Port Adelaide. But this evening poses a massive challenge trying to end the Gold Coast Suns streak. It's all ahead of us and we can't wait to bring you all the action. I'm Mitch Turner. Alongside me, calling the match tonight, is Rob Cross. G'day to you, Rob.
G'day, Mitch. Welcome to Darwin. It's a magnificent setting tonight. And coming into the ground tonight, there were lines and lines of young Aboriginal kids coming to see their heroes play. And it was really touching to see being shepherded through the race and into the ground and big smiles on their face. It was just really, really tremendous. And obviously the two teams are playing in their Indigenous jumpers. We've got the Sir Doug Nicholls round about to be announced soon as well. So just coming up to Darwin, where football is so important to communities up here. To see these two teams, we've had a couple of dud games in the past few years, but these two teams right up in the upper echelons of the ladder should be a ripping game. Yeah,
I can't wait for it to happen. It is a beautiful looking venue and a beautiful looking night. We'll get the conditions very, very shortly from Charlie King. But our experts with us on ABC Sport tonight, both all Australians in their own right. One who knows this ground and this state very, very well, former Richmond Tiger, of course, Joel Bowden. G'day to you, Joel.
Good evening, Mitch. Hello, Rob, Chad. Welcome to the Territory. What a wonderful night. And, Rob, they weren't dud games the last few years because we've had Territorians playing at TIO Stadium.
True.
My God, am I looking forward to seeing these young NT lads come out and show all their family and friends what they've got to put on display at the absolute highest level. I think Malcolm Rosie's just kicking a goal on his right foot there in the warm-up. Joel Jeffrey, Daniel Rioli, who of course came across from Richmond, and Ben Long, my favourite. I saw him clean a bloke up here when he was in his teenage years, just in the far forward pocket, and the poor kid he cleaned up, who was a grown man, had his shoulders separated and had to be put back together. He is as tough as nails.
He hits very, very hard. There's a few special things going on in the Gold Coast Suns camp as well, which I'll bring to you very, very shortly when we welcome in our NT or our Gold Coast listeners very shortly as well. The other expert tonight, as I mentioned, an All-Australian, former Port Power player, and of course Hawthorn player as well, who has played 3 times up here in the AFL. Chad Wingard, all the way from Melbourne. G'day, Chad.
Yes, good to be here. Obviously, coming all the way from Melbourne, bit of a different climate as you can imagine, but yeah, excited to be here. I mean, seeing this game from a different lens, and yeah, it's always tough to play up here. I mean, we played Gold Coast and, like I said, home away from home. They're unbelievable up here. They're just somehow cleaner. They're, like I said, they're very hard to beat up here, but they're coming up against the Bulldogs, who are in the best form for a team that's had a lot of injuries that they've had. They've had Trelaw come in and out. Bontempelli missed the start of the season. Sam Darcy. I mean, they've had a lot of star power, but credit to them. The guys that is like next man up mentality has worked for them all season. And like I said, Bontempelli come back and they've won the last 3 with him in there. And it's, super exciting team to be. And like I said, really looking forward to a hot contest. And I really think that the midfield battle is really going to determine this game.
We'll go through some of the changes for both the sides in just a moment when we welcome in our Gold Coast listeners very, very shortly. But it is a beautiful night here at Marara Oval. The humidity is not too high. We'll get the final conditions from Charlie King on the boundary in just a moment, as we welcome in all of our listeners from ABC Gold Coast. Great to have your company here from Marara Oval in Darwin for the Gold Coast Suns playing host to the Western Bulldogs. Two sides looking to stamp their finals credentials. The Suns on a 6-0 run here since the 2020 season up in Darwin. Should be a cracking game. Those outs and those changes to the sides we'll list for you now. For the Gold Coast Suns, into the side, Braden Fiorini, Long, Closey and Rosas. For the outs for the Gold Coast Suns, Ethan Reid goes out, Lockie Weller, David Swallow managed, and Connor Butterick. For the Bulldogs, Gallagher and Poulter come into the side. Adam Trelaw is being managed with a bit of calf soreness, and Jed Buslinger has been omitted as well. It's going to be a very, very tough game to pick and a fair bit to break down, Joel and Chad, because form lines, what do they mean when you come to a venue like this? Gold Coast Suns have, as Chad mentioned, and yourself, Joel, they just have some sort of stranglehold on this venue. They kicked over 100 points in 5 of their last 6. And no matter who the opposition, they seem to just get it done. Yeah, and ironically, in today's AFL, which is my majority of tight and tough contests, we see the AFL teams come up here, especially the Suns, and they break out, they break loose, and they score really, really heavily. I think last year, Rob, they won by 10 goals, but Geelong had kicked 15 or something like that. You know, it was a really high-scoring shootout, and to go 25 goals to 15, especially against Geelong, was phenomenal. They just played the conditions a little bit better, I think, and they've got that local knowledge now where they have been coming for a number of years, and it's not dissimilar to the climate and the conditions over on the Gold Coast. So they have a little bit of home ground advantage, plus they got 4 territory lads who are going to put it all on display tonight, so that should be fun.
And to correct myself, Joel, they weren't dud games, they were just one-sided.
They were one-sided. We love AFL up here, Rob. We love it.
And we'll talk about that all night. I know, Joel Bowden, you'll be pushing the case for more and more football in the Northern Territory, given how much passion you have for AFL football and for this state as well. Represented Northern Territory a number of times and did so with a fair bit of distinguishedness.
I had a little stint in the Allies when the Allies was still running. Well, back in the day, I think I played the last games for the Allies.
Sacrilege for the Northern Territory boys to do, surely.
Oh, well, a rep game's a rep game, and when you're in the NT, I remember going away representing the Northern Territory. No one would swap tracksuit tops with us after the competitions, you know, when it had ended. New South Wales and Tasmania would swap, Victoria and South Australia would swap, WA would try and get in there. Then we were just left there with our black, white and ochre jackets that no one would swap us, but we were so proud that we were happy to take them home and wear them in the community and wear them down the Todd Mall where I grew up in Alice Springs, or wear them here down the Smith Street Mall, because we're so proud to be Territorians.
I reckon now the way the fashion has gone as well, Joe, I reckon everyone will be chasing those kind of colours these days. A few things to mention as well, given it is a special night, and we'll get the toss in just a moment. I'm going to get Rob Cross to keep an eye on who wins the toss, but a nice little touch in the Gold Coast camp this morning. Members of Joel Jeffrey's family actually presented a number of the players with some hand-painted football boots with each having their own individual story on them, and the players are actually going to wear them in the game, even though Joel apparently was a little hesitant because he didn't want to ruin them because he loved them so much. But Joel's auntie Bettina presented boots to Will, Bailey and Joel. Mac Andrew had another set of boots made by another family member because he is a massive Mac Andrew fan and demanded that he design the boots for Mac Andrew. So they will be wearing something special, along with their First Nations Guernseys they'll also wear for Sir Doug Nicholls round, which of course will be launched this week and will carry on next weekend. So a nice touch from the Gold Coast Suns and the players embracing it. They'll be here for a whole week embracing the community, and it's massive. We'll get more on that in just a moment. But Rob, you can't deny on the toss.
Yeah, Dogs won the toss. They had Riley Sanders join Marcus Bontempelli out for the toss. Noah Anderson from the Suns. Dogs won. They're kicking to the airport end.
Airport end of the ground, as I was saying, and we'll get to the bounce in just a moment, because it's a massive game of football, and it's bigger than just football out here. The crowd is building quite nicely. We better get down to Charlie King, because the great Charlie King, as always, is down on the boundary. He can tell us about the conditions and what the crowd's looking like early. Charlie?
Yeah, perfect conditions here. Absolutely perfect. We sit under a silver moon waiting for this game, and the capacity crowd is 12,000. They'll be disappointed if they don't get close to that. And the weather, well, the temperature's 27, drops to 24 by the time this game ends. Humidity at 40%. Rain forecast at 5% only a chance for it. But a great game in front of us, and they got such a round of applause, the Western Bulldogs, when they come out. Suggests to me that there's going to be even support for both these two teams. We're looking forward to a great game.
And Mitch, I was
couldn't get
running
that
a little bit late because of the traffic, and
You were talking
unfortunately...
all morning about how you've got to get here early.
Get here
early, and you're the last to arrive.
Oh, no, a little bit of traffic, and it always catches us Territorians out. But unfortunately, the crowd has not built just yet because they're still lined up outside. As I raced in, there was a massive line at both the Bonson and the Armat gates, and so I think this crowd will build during the first quarter.
Is that anything unusual?
No,
Darwin?
that's typical. Get here 5 minutes before and then complain that you didn't get to see the first bounce. So here's a cracking game about to begin.
Two teams in readiness. Jared Witts, Tim English stand opposite each other. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. It's the Gold Coast Suns against the Western Bulldogs. Here's Rob Cross.
English and Witts. Witts wins the first tap. Bontempelli might get the first clearance. He soccers off the ground, goes up towards 55 from goal. Little handball's farmed out to Fraser. Bontempelli gets it back. Back to Fraser. Gathers it beautifully on the left hand on the left boot. Kick it to the left forward pocket. Karmas is up in front of Mac Andrew. It's knocked out of his grasp and goes out of bounds 20 metres away from the Dogs' goal.
And that's a great start. I mean, Fraser, how good was that from a pick-up? I mean, they don't look like they're worried about the slipperiness. He took the one-hand grab, so good start by the Bulldogs there.
He is having some sort of season. This young Fraser, ball spun back in. English to the front, tapped it down. Bontempelli overran it. Coming through is Rao for the Suns. Ran into a very up and about Riley West, who wrapped him up. Ball up again. 30 metres out from the Dogs' attacking goal. English taps it out into space. Onto it is Kennedy. Little handball to Bontempelli. Tucked in the pocket. Snaps on goal. Couldn't produce something special on this occasion. It is the opening score, though, of the match. A minor one to the Bulldogs. They lead by that much. Just 1 minute into play here. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport live from Marara Oval in Darwin.
Lovely embrace at the start of the game too. Buku Karmas being manned up by Mac Andrew. And should be an exciting matchup, those two players, as the mark is taken. Will Graham, or is it Closey? Closey it is, in fact, from left half back, kicks to the wing. English slides in front of Witts. Rowell at front of the pack, immediately hassled by Liberatore and tackled and brought to ground. Play on the call, taken by Bailey Williams, gives it to English, kicks inside 50. Andrew floats back, though, and marks and plays on quickly, switching to the outer side to Hewland.
Hewland has to take the ball on the bounce. Wasn't a great kick, but he's able to gather in space. Takes a bounce of his own. Now kicks up to the wing. Flying over the top is Humphrey. You'd hear the boys in the background. A big grab on the wing for the Suns and moves it quickly. Tuke Miller takes it, runs. Little handball. Fiorini goes inside the forward 50 for Gold Coast. No mark taken. English able to rove it. Took the contact. Threw it away though. Ben Long snaps on goal. Couldn't find the major opening. A minus score. That would have brought the crowd to their feet. Was not to be. A minus score. 0-1-1 play. 0-1-1.
Jeez, we're just getting a replay.
2.5 minutes in the replay. Chad Wingard. The grab was pretty good.
I mean, that's pretty impressive. I mean, he got the perfect ride, Bailey Humphries, and took it and just in his stride. I would have taken a couple seconds to bask in it. That was an unbelievable grab.
Well, Chad, you normally took him in the forward line, so you got to go back and have a shot for goal. That was the best
part. You get 30
part.
seconds.
Yeah.
You get 30 seconds to live it up a bit.
The Dogs bring it out through the outer side through O'Donnell, I should say, up to the wing over the head of Fraser. So the Suns can gather, shrug the tackle. Loops the ball in the Flanders direction. He's 70 from goal, right half forward, about to be rung down. Gets the handball away. Centering ball is pretty good into Anderson. He marks 60 from goal, plays on quickly. Kick inside 50, in fact, wide out to the half forward flank. And well placed to Closey, who's 55 out left half forward.
Has he got this one in him?
I don't reckon he's got the distance.
Yeah, he's a bit nervous. Looks like he's still sussing his options out.
The Dogs have flooded back into defence.
The modern AFL player, though, Rob, can kick the ball so far nowadays. We were talking about this, Mitch, earlier today, that 55 metres is now almost normal. Like, they go back and have a shot. So he's right on 50.
So it could be a closey. He pumps it long. You've caught it well. He's hooked it, though, as he just went looking through to extra distance. It's through for one behind, but made the distance pretty easily in the end. So Gold Coast, after 3 or 4 minutes in the first quarter, 2 behinds, 2 points, Dogs a point.
Poor kick in. Goes to the Dogs in the end, though, through hands. English got it away. Hunting it over the top was Liberatore. Stolen by Witts of the Sun. Still inside their forward 50. Now Richards under enormous pressure. Snaps around the body. Towards the wing. Coming in late was West. Knocks it away from Noble, but he wins it back. The Sun kicks it into the pocket. Looking for a marking target. Over the top, King. Couple of grabs. Rory Lobb bearing down, and Ben King on the second attempt, clutched it to his chest and will go back from a very tight angle in the left forward pocket, looking for the Suns first.
And that's Gold Coast to a T. You know, like they get so many inside 50s. They lead the league in it. And they, like I said, they've had trouble scoring, and this is their part where sometimes they need to convert. Obviously, King's improved it. He looks like he sussed up his options. Look like he's holding it with a banana. I'm not sure if he's going to try and bend it or he's just gone for the drop kick.
24 goals for the season. Ben King, Coleman medal leader. The set shot is across the face and away to the right. Another minor score for the Gold Coast Suns. 3 of them is their tally. 1 behind for the Bulldogs. 4 minutes played in the opening term here at Marara Oval.
So the Dogs undecided where to go. They looked left and right. Now they favour the outer side. In fact, straight back down the middle to Bontempelli. Short kick, barely 15. Huge crackdown on that this year. Comes to Richards, back to the Bont. In the teal boots. Not many of those left around. Comes into the middle. He can get it through Sanders to Norton. Norton marks inside the centre square. 70 from goal. Plays on pretty quickly into the pocket. Poulter just on. Beautiful kick by Norton. And Poulter dropping back into the pocket. The former Pie marks about 25 metres out on the boundary line.
It was a lovely little 6-iron there from Norton. He just worked it beautifully into the pocket and found his man crunched between 2 other Gold Coast players.
Don't tell me he's going to drop punt as well. I mean, I know these pockets are a little bit not as shallow, but no, he's going banana.
First game of the season, and he's kicked it out of bounds on the full from just 25 metres out.
Jeez, I haven't seen that too many times. I thought King down the other end. I thought he was going to open up the angle and snap on his right. I thought you normally see, I suppose, forwards now, they're so talented and they're so, I suppose, regimented in their approach. He still didn't know exactly what he wanted to do, and that's a bit worrying when you should know exactly where you should kick what on what point of the oval. So a bit disappointing from both kickers at the moment. Obviously out in a fall there, which is a bit interesting kick there.
The Suns exit defensive 50 by Yulin to Andrew. Has it just gone left half back. Called to play on. Kicks up the wing. Big pack forms in front though. English, red at the best, takes the intercept mark for the Bulldogs. He's in some sort of form. There are a number of rucks playing very good football at the moment. He is one of them. Goes wide to Bontempelli to kick up towards half forward. Was looking for Kennedy, knocked away by Anderson. There's Rioli. He was tackled, dispossessed. The Suns go back in. Tackled by Norton is Anderson. Somehow got a handball out to Andrew. Loops it over the top to Miller. Richards sees him out. A nice warm applause from the fans who are appreciating every moment so far. A bit going on at the stoppage as well, Chad. So hand over to Rob.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Rowell. Also Anderson, Liberatore. Richards now pushing and shoving with Rowell. Thrown back in. 55 from the Dogs' goal. Right half forward. Anderson. Handball to Yuland. About to be tackled. Just got the handball away to Rowell. Good on the left boot. Beautiful kick to Humphrey. Under pressure on the left boot. And Humphrey marks just defensive side of the wing in front of the grandstand here. Morris Rioli grandstand at TIO Stadium. Kicks up to half forward. In front is Lob. And should be paid the mark, I thought, or chopping the hands, as you say. Comes back to Tuke Miller at ground level. Nowhere to go. He's taken in a strong tackle. He's pinged for holding the ball. And the free kick will go to Bailey Williams at half-back.
Footy gods.
Footy gods are good, but Miller should have just turned and banged it forward. Like, no option. He's looking for a handball received coming. Just turn around and kick it down the line, mate.
Williams, the Bulldogs, kicks up towards half forward. Big fist from behind. Andrew, though, spun it off the knuckles. Fell to his feet. Able to gather and go backwards to Noble. He retreats further into his defensive 50 to Fiorini. I see Chad Wingard pointing. He's spotting a few things already. We'll hear his thoughts shortly. Kick out from Fiorini. Out wide, long over the back. Put a fist in over the top of Bontempelli. Fell down to the captain of the Suns in Anderson. Handballs to Miller. Now to Long. Kick up the wings. A good one. Low. Taken by Rose, who turns around. Kicks up towards half forward. And Flanders has the ball 55 out. Doesn't want to waste any time. Sees something inside the forward 50. Kicks long. Big fist came late from Lob. Knocks it away from Graham. Ball at ground level. The Dogs defenders are in there. Davidson dances around one. Caught by the second. Holding the ball paid. Advantage taken. The Suns get the first. Graham snaps it through. And Gold Coast, in true Marara fashion, get the first on the board. The first major goes the way of the Suns. 1-3-9 are the Suns, even though the scoreboard currently is reading -1-3. but they are actually 1-3-9. The Dogs just one behind. 9 minutes played here. Saturday night footy on ABC Sports. Mitch Turner alongside Rob Cross, our experts. Both all Australians, Chad Wingard and Joel Bowden. I've never seen that on a scoreboard.
Well, Mitch, welcome to the territory, because we've had issues with that scoreboard over time. And in fact, if you looked at centre wing, that's the old scoreboard, so we've got a new scoreboard. But there are glitches in the matrix, as we know. And Graham finishes off a goal where I think the Bulldogs player should have just kicked it long and wide. Get the ball out of your defence, get it as far away from your goal as possible. Instead, he gets caught holding the ball, and the Gold Coast get their first goal.
The versatility of Buku Karmas on display. He's gone into the ruck, can play forward, can play back. Started forward tonight. He's up against the much taller Witts, who easily wins the tap, but coming through is Fraser. It's still bobbling around inside the centre square. Now the Bont decides to break the shackles and kick it forward. Good strong tackling coming out from half-back by Rioli. Latham Vandermeer pulls it back in, gives it back to Bontempelli, now to Fraser, who's been busy early. Beautiful kick over the top, and inside 50, running back with the flight was Matt Kennedy, who is normally a very good shot for goal, who kicked from 50.
And that's class, isn't it? I really call him the right-footed Bont. But you just see them two together. They just look unbelievable. And like I said, to have a mentor like the Bontempelli to look up to and play with, he's a steal in the draft for the Bulldogs. That was very classy. I mean, he's 191 centimetres. It's pretty hard to get a midfielder that's that good this early in his career.
Kennedy, good record at the Blues from set shots. He's got the distance. Has he got the accuracy? Sure has. Matt Kennedy brings up the Dogs first. The margin back to 2 points at the 11-minute mark of the first quarter. 1-3 plays 1-1 Gold Coast lead.
And like I said, that's just a beautiful finish. Matt Kennedy, I think we spoke about it before the air. We thought he's probably been the recruit of the year, or if not, most improved player of the year. Like, he's been absolutely huge for him. Obviously, Bontempelli, they've had Adam Treloar, had stints in the injury list, and he's really been the consistent man in there with Libba. I think is just really holding them and their midfield unit in a great stead to be where they are now. I mean, they're 6th on the ladder, I believe, and obviously before the few games have happened. But he's been unbelievable. I think Carlton, as you said before, will be pretty spewing to see him. We're happy to see him playing well.
They just have too many of the same kind of players.
Yeah.
Carlton, is that the issue?
I think so.
Hewitt, Cripps, Chera, Walsh, they had a lot through the middle.
Well, how can you can't keep running back the same crew and expect a difference, but obviously they haven't had that, I suppose, continuity, and like I said, opportunity arises when you go to a different situation, and obviously he's blooming in this, obviously fit at the moment, the Bulldogs.
Kennedy gets the first on the board for the Bulldogs. Karmas in the ruck against Walter. Ball comes down. Walter following it up. Able to get a handball wide. Comes out in the end to Ainsworth. Kicks it towards the top of the goal square for the Suns. Doing well to edge his player under the ball was Roses. Comes out to Fiorini. Snap around the body back to the goal square. And Rory Lobb, the only one waiting down, takes the, in the end, uncontested mark. Will be able to repel the Dogs outside defensive 50.
Again, they favour the outer side. Doesn't quite get to Karmas. Fraser's there will get to the footy first in front of Miller. Receives the handball from Davidson. It's a scrappy kick all along the ground. Gives Bontempelli a real task. He's set upon. Ball spills free. Back to Tuke Miller. He sweeps the ball back to Ainsworth. He's 55 from goal. Kicks towards full forward. Dogs have the numbers back there, and floating back is O'Donnell. And he marks 15 metres out from the goal he's defending, and he switches back into that left back pocket to Davidson.
He's had a pretty good year, Davidson, but
made
a little bit of an error early, which cost the Dogs. Goes across the face of goal to Lobb, who marks and plays on. It's a shocking kick at Grubber. Manages to get past Anderson outside their defensive 50. The Suns have it back, and it is Anderson with ball in hand. His kick, not a great one inside the forward 50. In front, Dale had a couple of grabs at it, was paid the mark, and that's a defensive 50 exit. Kicks it out to right half back, and Poulter is able to take it comfortably on the chest. Still has the long hair flowing down the back. He's kicked those. A little too hot for his initial target in West. Norton at the back, able to gather on the bounce. Gets it to Vandermeer. Over the top to Fraser. Little snap around the body. Needs to sit for McNeil. Can't gather it. He's pushed out of bounds by Anderson. It'll be a boundary throw in just outside right half forward for the Bulldogs. They trail by 2 points. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Chad Wingard, Joel Bowden, our experts. I'm Mitch Turner. This is Rob Cross.
55 metres out at right half forward from the Dogs' goal. Kicking to the airport end in the first quarter. Buku Karmas won the tap away from Walter. Sliding in there was Holman. Bontempelli, another possession, got out to Fraser. He couldn't trap the footy. He then lays a tackle out towards the boundary line. Richards, who's had a great season, is well tackled by Miller over the boundary line, and Miller will be patted on the head from a couple of teammates, Holman and Rowell, saying well done, and he'll have the stoppage a little bit further out from the Dogs' goal.
And Bontempelli at 14 minutes into this quarter, I think he's had at least 8 or 9 possessions already. He is gasping for breath a little bit. He might have to go off for a rest soon.
He's standing next to this stoppage. It doesn't come his way initially. It does, though, come to the Dogs. Sanders, little handball to Liberatore. Kicks it inside the forward 50, or coming in late. And able to take the mark was Hewland. It spits out wide to Powell. Handball to Miller. Gets it back to Powell. Then through to Rao. Now Andrew on the run. Uses his left boot. Kicks up the wing and lob. Read it in front. Takes the mark. Had the arms chopped, but the umpire paid the mark and all.
Yeah, it was a free kick. Hit him in the face, but he's been really sturdy for him. I mean, his kicking there is pretty potent. He obviously just turned it over, but he's been really reliable back there as a marking source.
Wasn't a great kick. He sat on top of Bontempelli. The Dogs almost lost it, but Williams was able to gather and go wide to Dale, who plays on.
He wants Norton. He's got Collins from behind. The kick was a bit too tall anyway. And the ball off hands and out of bounds. So we're back in that little pocket about 60 metres out from the Dogs' goal at right half forward.
And Bontempelli's just going off for a rest now, 15 minutes into the first quarter. I think he's had 9 touches.
Norton coming off as well. English will come on. Ruck work will be done by Carmiso, and Walter from the Suns leaps from behind, nullify each other. Tuke Millie's been busy, loops a handball over the top. First to it there is Humphrey. Is it out of bounds on the full? The umpire was very, very close to it, and is going to
look like it's out on the full.
Throw it back in, right in front of us on centre wing, in front of the Morris Rioli grandstand. We've played about 16 minutes in the first quarter. 139 Gold Coast, 117 the Dogs.
It's a beautiful night here in Darwin. Ball tossed back in, Witts to the front, taps it straight though to Harms, who is tackled strongly by Ainsworth.
Bit of a good luck charm, Mitch. Apparently Harms has played 10 times for Melbourne and the Dogs against the Suns, never beaten.
He does have a good record, and he's a premiership player as well at the Demons, so he knows what success is, does James Harms. I saw he wasn't happy with his rating on the new AFL video game the other day. He thought he was hard done by. Wanted to tell all and sundry. Ball back into play. Dogs got it going forward through Harms. His kick, though, straight to the local product in Joel Jeffrey. You can see he's got those special boots on tonight. Kicks it up the wing, looking for a target. Lob position 1A. Kick at the back, though. Almost took the mark. Trying to burst through is Humphrey. He's knocked off it. Going back in for the Suns is Holman. Handball to Miller. Looking for a target inside the forward 50. Kicks it to the top of the goal square. Unable to mark was Graham. Comes to the back of the pack. Flying in is Davidson for the Dogs. Graham's in there again for Gold Coast. And the ball will be tossed up 5 metres out from their attacking goal square. The Gold Coast Suns, they still lead by 2 points.
Over halfway in the first quarter. It's been good footy despite the low-scoring nature of it. Very intense. Starting through as Roses. Couldn't quite control it. Couple of metres out. Can get a boot to ball. It's knocked through for a rush behind. Another point to the score of Gold Coast, 1-4-10. Dogs 1-1-7. 17 minutes gone first quarter.
I'm going to leave it up to Joel Bowden in a moment because he knows the territory so well. But I've got a question for him. Not an easy one as the ball comes out to Liberatore at right half back. Dangerous kick into the middle. Miller was between two Dogs. Managed to knock it down. Got it to Anderson. Off to Rioli. The hometown hero sets his sights on the goals. And what a moment for Daniel Rioli. The crowd loves it. Back in the NT. Kicking goals on the AFL stage. You can see how much it means to him as he comes off towards the bench for a well-earned rest. And I imagine, I was about to say, he was going to get a round of applause. He's been sent back on the field. The Suns extend their lead in the meantime. 2-4-16 Gold Coast. 1-1-7 the Bulldogs. I was going to ask you, Joel Bowden, out of the four, who is the favourite son here for the Suns? It has to be Daniel Rioli, I guess. He's got the biggest profile, but Joel Jeffrey, the Jeffrey name's pretty famous in the NT.
Yeah, Joel Jeffrey, his father Russell was and is an absolute champion and legend. But I think that the Rioli name, and Daniel I think has just eclipsed Morris as the greatest games, the most number of games. But that was just perfect. That was Daniel Rioli that we saw at Richmond for 180 games, running off half-back or as a small forward, kicking goals from just on 50. Bloody brilliant.
Back in the middle. Again through Humphrey this time. The Suns go forward. 60-metre kick. It might carry all the way and go out of bounds on the full. Off hands, and it'll be a boundary throw-in. So deep into attack again, the Suns. Another clearance for them. And that goal came about because of a switch kick back into the middle. gone wrong for the Dogs. So
it's always fraught with danger, Rob. We call it the freeway through the middle. Get off the freeway when you're in the back line. Go down the wing.
Big leap from behind came from English. Left it behind. Players pile in about 20 metres from goal. Right forward pocket. Whistle goes. Free kick. And it's going the way of the Suns, I think. It's going to pick up which player gets it. Looks like it's signalled for a throw. And I think it might be Graham again, who's already kicked one goal. Will Graham, who'll line up for goal from about 30 metres out.
It's so contentious, this illegal disposal holding the ball, and especially with 4 umpires out there from all different angles. Here we've had a free kick for a throw. The umpire was signalling because he didn't dispose of it correctly. It's so difficult for the umpires and the players sometimes. Nice
little patch here for the Suns. 20 minutes gone in the quarter to extend the lead to 15 points. Graham for his second, makes no mistake about it. And the Suns have their third, 3-4-22. A couple of goals pretty quickly. The Bulldogs 1-1-7.
Well, almost out of nowhere, Chad, they get a goal from a stoppage, a free kick, Daniel Rioli off half-back, and they've piled on a couple quite quickly. And the Suns have proven over the journey here they can score and score quickly.
Yeah, and it was their defence that got both of them goals, I believe. I mean, I know you had that clearance then, but if you go back, Bulldogs were actually, that kick from Liver, it was out of the fact that he was almost bored. They were on this corner, they got stuck on the wings for the last 10 minutes, and Bulldogs prior to that were trying to go through the corridor through their kicking, and you could just see he was trying to ignite something, and he obviously bit off more than he could chew. Fraser wasn't expecting it, and a turnover from Daniel Rowley, who was a beautiful finish. But yeah, I'll go back to that, the free kick. It's a tough one. I think these umpires, they're asking so much of him, especially, we spoke about that incorrect disposal before in a tackle. It looked like he still made an attempt, so I don't know the balance there of what's an efficient attempt and what's holding the ball.
It is a tough one to umpire these days, and it's just as tough sometimes to players. The clearance goes the way of the Dogs, and Jeffrey takes a strong mark on the defensive edge of the centre square for the Gold Coast Suns. Jeffrey, high ball up towards right half forward. English in front, got a hand on it, coming through. Unable to take it initially was Graham, then on hands and knees, gets a little handball forward, only as far as Liberatore. That was a terrific exit out to Johannesson, who shares it with English. Now kicks up the wing. Jeffrey went back with courage, couldn't take the mark. Polter roved it for the Dogs. Norton, handball out to Davidson, couldn't get the kick away on his left foot. Bontempelli's there though. Tumbles the ball inside 50. Out to meet is McNeil. Handball over the top to Norton. On to Karmas. Left foot snap on goal. Misses. Hits the post. It was almost end-to-end stuff by the Dogs. Probably their best bit of play tonight. And they aren't able to make the most of it. 1-2-8, the Bulldogs. They trail the Suns 3-4-22. ABC Sport live from Darwin.
Was it Davidson sliding by? Could have had the handball as well. Not to be. He went for the kick himself and wasn't successful. As Ainsworth has it on the centre wing, in front of the grandstand. He pumps it long. English, Witts push and shove. Witts too strong. Got rid of English and takes the mark. 60 from goal at left half forward. Fiorini cruising by pretty casually. Wasn't really an option. It's fairly stagnant now, so we just bomb it to close to the top of the square. Some pushing and shoving there. Liberatore lays the tackle on Walter. Bontempelli waits for it to come out. Little handball there from Sanders. Missed its target and it dribbles out of bounds 40 metres around from the Suns' goal in front of the Michael Long Centre. Played 22 minutes. It's the Suns leading by 14 points.
Update on the Rory Lobb hair once more. Just
what is it this week?
Peroxide blonde with blue stars, it seems, on the top. Always a main attraction. Ball spun back in. Roses burst through, but a free kick has been paid out of the stoppage. It's a hold, and it's going the way of Jared Witts against Tim English. So Witts will have a set shot from about 45 metres out. 45-degree angle to the left. And it's tough to try and catch the replay from a distance here.
I think it was holding in the ruck contest. So they both contested the ball and English clearly wrapped him up too much. But here for their fourth goal in the quarter, Witts on the left foot.
Jared Witts, for just his second goal of the season, kicks right to the goal line and it's punched through in the end.
Are we allowed to say he kicked like a ruckman, Rob?
Yeah, that was... He didn't have much momentum going into his kick there, that's for sure.
He didn't even make the distance from 45 metres.
I thought it was kicked like a backman. It's back of the pack, Noble. Not you, of course. Magnificent left footer, Joel Bowden. Inside 50. Richards taken in a tackle. Got ball to boot. Goes past Liberatore. Noble mops up. He's tackled. Held by the arm. Got rid of the tackler. Bounces out to Will Powell. He sidesteps through traffic. Gives the handball cleverly. Flanders on the right boot. It's hooking around for a brilliant goal. And the Suns get their fourth out of not much, really. They just pressured and forced the mistake from the Bulldogs. Kept it inside their forward 50. And they're creeping away to a pretty handy lead towards quarter time. 24 minutes gone first quarter. It is a 21-point lead to what is the home team. They've won 6 in a row here, the Suns. And they've started brightly again tonight. 4-5 plays 1-2.
And you see Gold Coast, they're playing to the conditions. Like you can see if you're just listening, but they're attacking the contest. They're happy to go down the line. Every single time they've marked the ball, they're going to a contest. And Bulldogs are almost trying to manufacture something out of some of their kicks. They're going short. They're going, taking it around the corner kick. You had Rory Lobb who took around his body in the back 50. So you just see that Gold Coast, they've been here before. They're a bit more mature in their approach to the game. And what they're doing, they're going through the corridor, but only off of turnovers. So that's what I want to reiterate. Like they know the conditions, they know what their team is built on. It actually reminds me of the team that they're built on and the way they played to the Melbourne when they won in 2021. They go to the contest, they live off the pressure, and the turnover scores really helps them. So Gold Coast are obviously just playing in conditions a bit better at the moment.
Thoughts of dual Australians Chad Wingard and Joel Bowden here for ABC Sport. The Dogs on this occasion get it out of the middle, going forward through Poulter. Got it to Norton, ricocheted off of Norton to Kennedy, who snaps around the body. And the instant response for the Dogs. Kennedy, who was limping at half-back just a moment ago, the physio came out, pushed them away, and has kicked his second goal of the night, and the Dogs' second as well. 2-2-14, the Western Bulldogs. Gold Coast, no change to their score, 4-5-29. We've travelled 26 minutes in the opening term. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Mitch Turner alongside Rob Cross, our experts Chad Wingard and Joel Bowden.
And Mitch, I will say that at the 26-minute mark, that scrambled kick forward from Liberatore slipped through the hands of Joel Jeffrey. The ball's starting to get a bit slippery. You can see the player's shoulders starting to glisten, although it looks like Dan Rioli's got half a tub of olive oil on his shoulders. That is something that happens up here. Late in the first quarter, certainly into the second quarter, the ball gets a bit slippery, and to Chad's point, Gold Coast are playing the conditions better, but whenever the Bulldogs go forward, they're scoring 8 inside 50s for 4 scores.
Dogs stay in touch. Witts won the tap, but only as far as Liberatore. Up towards half forward. The wrestle there, Mac Andrew. Rioli slips a little handball out, doesn't find a teammate. It's socket off the ground. They gain about 20 metres. Now it's turned over through Richards. He's 60 from goal. Low, burning past to West is magnificent. West came out from the top of the goal square. And a worm-burning 40-metre pass. Didn't get any higher than about 2 metres off the ground. And the Dogs a chance for a couple in a minute.
That was special. Ed Richards is something special with ball in hand. Like that's he stopped on a dime, and I suppose probably turned his body going in one direction on a dime and just laced that out. Like he had half a metre split and just put it exactly where the forward only he could get it. So, he's been amazing this year.
12 goals already this season for Riley West. He now has 13 and the Dogs are right back in it. 27 and a half minutes gone in the first quarter. Dogs up to 3-2-20. Just 9 points the difference. The Suns 4-5-29.
Well, Liberatore gets the last 2 clearances out of the centre. They're back of centre, so clearly the Suns are winning the taps and getting it forward. But it's not resulting in inside 50s for them, the last 2, because Libba is just a little legend and he kicks it on his left. 2 left footers up here tonight, Chad. Libba doing what he does on the left, Bontempelli doing what he does on the left, and then a nice finish from West after what I agree. That was a chiselling ball from Richards, and no one else but West was going to mark that leading out into the forward pocket. In front of the St Mary's, that's the St Mary's pocket over there, Mitch. The St Mary's Football Club have their club rooms over there. The Longs and the Riolis, all the champions of the AFL, the NTFL, the Waffle, the SANFL, all reside over there.
It is a famous club, St Mary's. It's produced a number of high-quality footballers over the years and will continue to do so. The Suns try to go by hand out of the middle. Here is a Rioli on cue. Daniel handballs to his left, has a runner in support in close. He kicks it inside the forward 50 from the back. Flying high is King, had a couple of cracks at it. Couldn't pull it down at the back of the pack. Waltz a little slick handball, couldn't find a teammate. The Dogs defending on the last line of defence. The clearing kick is almost marked by Rowell. It's still inside the Suns attacking 50. The Dogs by hand. Johannesson out to Dale. Kicks a nice chiseler up the wing. And it's taken on the chest by Slim Shady. Lathan Vandermeer who go back to right half back and find a teammate. Trying to figure out who it is here. I can't see past this little thing on the window here in the box, but Bontempelli has it now on the wing. Handballs over the top to Vandermeer.
Gets it out to Bailey Dale on the wing, steps through two Suns, just carved his way past both of them and then kicks inside 50 into the pocket, looking for West. Ulan got rid of him, and sliding in and taking the mark was his teammate Mac Andrew across half back in defence.
I've been cleaning my binoculars all night. I realised I'm just looking the smudge on the window.
Mac Andrew belts it up towards the wing again, looking for Witts. He's wrestling with Tim English. He slaps it forward, only as far as Walter. He goes to ground. Bailey Dale comes up with a footy, taken down by Holman and over the shoulder, so a free kick to the Dogs. Closing in on 30 minutes in the first quarter. Pretty neutral crowd here. It's the Dog supporters here. Suns home game. Dale into the pocket, pinpoint superb to Harms. He wastes no time, plays on, kicks further down the line and finds West right on the boundary line. Jeez. But again, pinpoint passing by the Doggies. And West, a tough shot, 30 metres out on the boundary line, right forward pocket.
And that was special again. I mean, Bailey Dale and then Harms there, like that you can't defend that as a defender. Like as a forward, you'd love those kicks. Like you're like, geez, I've led, I haven't got much space, but it's hit me exactly where I need it to go. And again, I think it's West here. Looks like he's going to go banana deep in the pocket.
For his second goal of the quarter, he's gone right across the face. Just gave it a little bit too much, and it's through for a behind. Quarter time here at Marara. A great first quarter of footy. Two of the best teams in the comp as we sit here at the moment. It's the Suns 4-5-29 leading the Dogs 3-3-21.
So the end of one here at Marara up in Darwin. The Suns, who have a 6 straight winning streak at the moment since 2020, up in the top end. They hold an 8-point lead, 4-5-29 the Suns, 3-3-21 the Dogs, as Rob Cross mentions. The goal kickers in the game so far for Gold Coast, Will Graham has 2. He kicked the opening goal of the night. Sam Flanders has a single, and so too does the hometown hero Daniel Rioli. For the Dogs, 3 goals to them, 2 of those from Matt Kennedy, the other from Riley West. Before we take a quick break here, just a few scores to update you on. Earlier in the day, the Hawks prevailed by 35 points over the Demons, and the Bombers held on to a fast-finishing Sydney by 8 points in the other AFL fixtures. In the NRL, half-time, the Cowboys lead the Panthers, or trail the Panthers, 6-16. Earlier, the Warriors defeated St George Illawarra by 15-14, and the Canberra Bankstown Bulldogs had a 32-20 win over the Canberra Raiders. Can't wait for the Perth Bears to come in. That is what's happening around the nation at the moment. Here, though, at Marara Oval in the top end, it is the Suns leading the Dogs by 8 points. This is Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport.
G'day, this is Macca, and Sunday is your day.
I've got some roosters and I want to know if your program will help me get them to some farms. They're lovely, they're handsome brutes. I don't want them to go to a pot, Macca.
Give us a ring and say g'day to Australia. ABC Radio and the ABC Listen app.
The World Test Championship is coming.
He gets connection here, lifts it over the keeper, 1 bounce for 4.
Australia versus South Africa.
And he nicks it, he's got him again.
Catch every ball on the ABC Listen app. This is the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport.
Davidson dances around one, caught by the second, holding the ball paid, advantage taken. The Suns get the first. Graham snaps it through, and Gold Coast, in true Marara fashion, get the first on the board. The first major goes the way of the Suns.
Leighton Vandermeer pulls it back in, gives it back to Bontempelli, now to Fraser, who's been busy early. Beautiful kick over the top, and inside 50, running back on the flight was Matt Kennedy. Good record at the Blues from set shots. He's got the distance. Has he got the accuracy? Sure has. Matt Kennedy brings up the Dogs first. The margin back to 2 points.
Dangerous kick into the middle. Miller was between 2 Dogs. Managed to knock it down. Got it to Anderson. Off to Rioli. The hometown hero sets his sights on the goals. And what a moment for Daniel Rioli. The crowd loves it.
extend the lead to 15 points. Graham for his second, makes no mistake about it. And the Suns have their third. Noble mops up, he's tackled, held by the arm, but rid of the tackler. Bounces out to Will Powell. He sidesteps through traffic, gives the handball cleverly. Flanders on the right boot. It's hooking around for a brilliant goal. And the Suns get their fourth out of not much, really. Sock it off the ground. They gain about 20 metres. Now it's turned over through Richards. He's 60 from goal. Low, burning past to West is magnificent. West came out from the top of the goal square. 12 goals already this season for Riley West. He now has 13 and the Dogs are right back in it.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the AFL.
On your radio
ABC Sport Digital.
and on the ABC Listen app.
Quarter time here in the top end at Marara Oval in Darwin. The Gold Coast Suns have an 8-point lead over the Western Bulldogs. A fast start from the Suns. They kicked 4 of the first 5 goals. The Bulldogs answered back with the final 2 goals in that quarter. A beautiful crowd building on what is a very nice evening here in Darwin. Mitch Turner alongside Rob Cross for ABC Sport. Our experts in the box, both dual All-Australians, former Tiger Joel Bowden, former Hawk, former power player Chad Wingard. Boys, what'd you make of the first term?
Yeah, well, it was a hot contest early. I think, like I said, Gold Coast were kind of jumped them a little bit, and it actually took, Libba obviously getting a couple of clearances to get it their way, and obviously, like you said before, Joel, it's they're a bit potent inside forward 50, and it's on the back of Bulldogs kicking. Like, their kicking skills inside forward 50 is unbelievable. I thought some of the... Bailey Dale has been great. He lifted in the last probably 5 minutes, as did Ed Richards. And you see their stars are starting to align. And, I think we just spoke about, Gold Coast started well and they hit in the contest, but they really looked like they dropped off a little bit in their defence. Just the pressure, because the guys that were going inside forward 50, yes, they were unbelievable kicks, but they had no one in their face to stop them looking forward. So, great contest early. You can see these two teams are obviously the best of the crop at the moment.
Yeah, it certainly was. It certainly was a good start, and the Bulldogs have had more of the ball. But I think what we've seen, to your point, Chad, about their kicking, is they have been trying to be more precise, and they've done it through the corridor. The times it's turned over is when the Gold Coast have gone forward and capitalised from it. Now, going inside 50, the Bulldogs have been potent. With less inside 50s, they've had just as many scoring shots, whereas the other way round, it's a Damien Hardwick style of game that I watched for a long time.
And we spoke about this morning.
Get the ball as far as you can down the other end, make it an absolute S-fight in front of goals so that they can manufacture a score. Now, they manufacture a score out of a stoppage with a illegal disposal. They manufacture a shot out of a free kick from a ruck contest. But Malcolm Roses, who I've been watching closely because he's an NT ball, he's just on the cusp of getting, that touch, breaking one way just knocking it through. And so I think we're going to see this for it's certainly the second quarter, where the Dogs continue to try and use their feet through the middle, certainly hitting up their forwards, whereas the Suns are getting territory, they're getting it down their end, and they're actually going to the airport end, which historically, in my over a decade up here now watching footy, is the scoring end. To our right here at TIO Stadium, that is historically the scoring end.
7 goals kicked in the first quarter, so no shortage of goals. And as I said earlier in the call, the Suns have kicked over 100 points as their score, 5 of the past 6 visits here, so they certainly know how to find the score. Chad, you had an interesting observation at quarter time with what the two teams were doing.
Yeah, Bevo obviously spoke about during the week that the conditions are a myth, that the climate is a myth, and that he's not preparing any differently this week coming up here. And it's evident in the way that his team didn't go into the call rooms, which we are lucky enough to have up here in NT at TIO Stadium, and Gold Coast were straight down before they even heard the coach. So they went straight down there for maybe, we reckon, about 2 minutes, and then came out to listen to the coach. So different approaches, and again, we're not going to know their mental edge that they specifically think they have, or what the physical edge that Gold Coast think they're going to have, and we're not going to find out until later in the game, because that's when it starts to hurt the players, when they're starting to get tired and the body starts kicking in. So interesting approach.
Gold Coast have a very successful record up here, so if I was the Bulldogs, I'd be saying whatever they do, we should do. Joel?
Well, they also got 2 games here. They're playing again on Thursday night.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a double header, which means recover at every opportunity, whether they're having something to eat, something to drink in there quickly before they then come out and listen to Damien Hardwick and give his address, and about to start the second quarter. And this is a really, really good game, 29 points to 21, pretty even across the board. It could break this quarter, and who knows, can the Northern Territory boys do something special. Malcolm Roses off half forward, or Ben Long, who's just about to break this game open, or some of the Bulldogs players.
Second quarter action about to get underway. English and Wits stalking each other in the middle. Ball bounce, tapped down by Wits. Out in the path, though, running onto it was Liberatore. Managed to soccer it out to the broadcast wing. First onto it, though, it's Closey, who's tackled by Davidson over the top of it. Umpire will ball it up right in front of the interchange gates here on the grandstand side, which we can say at Marara, because there is the big grandstand on this broadcast side. From the stoppage, Anderson to Rao. Looping handball over the top to Miller. Kicking a half from home. Kicks it inside the forward 50, getting back. Taking the mark is O'Donnell, who wasn't a great kick, exiting defensive 50. Managed, though, to find Jason Johannesson. He has the sweatband on the left wrist. Gets it to Bramble. Kick smothered. Humphrey gathers for the Suns. Looking for Roses. Kicks it over his head. Williams the first on it for the Dogs. Handball's wide to Fraser, who runs back inside defensive 50 and manages to kick it all the way back to O'Donnell. Unorthodox, but he knew what he was doing. Who takes the mark deep in defence and kicks it out to Liberatore,
who takes a strong mark. Coming back on him was Humphrey. Gives the handball back to Bontempelli, who was sliding by, to Richards. They're three great names in the midfield. Richards' kick is beautiful to English. Handball off to Kennedy. Had to go back and get it. Chips over the top. 1-on-1 in the goal square. Clears the pair wrestling. Buku Kamas, I don't think, got a hand on it, or maybe a fingertip. It's given a goal. It is a goal, as Kamas was wrestling there with Andrew. And Kennedy gets his third. The margin is back to 2 points. Exciting chain of play by the Doggies.
And if you look at Gold Coast, they're kicking inside forward 50. We spoke about it, their contest. Yeah, they play the conditions right through probably the central third of the game. But when they're going to forward 50, they're playing the same way. They're just kicking to space. They're actually not lowering their eyes and kicking to a player. That last kick then, I don't know who. There wasn't a Gold Coast player inside. So the Gold Coast, yes, they're doing a lot right, but they're not kicking and lowering their eyes to try and kick for a lead. No one's actually leading up forward. It looks like they're just waiting for the ball to come to the hot spot, which is probably about the 15 metres away from the goal line. But you look at Bulldogs, they're very precise of where they're kicking to. Like just then they kick Libbo, they hit it over a nice 9-iron. And again, they're hitting their kicks to a player. But it's an interesting approach. Two different teams and two different approaches for their ball movement. And obviously you see what happens when Bulldogs get it right.
He draws within 2 points. Ball back in the middle. Rao just rips it away from the contest for Gold Coast. Gives it to Miller. High ball inside the forward 50. In front, taking a strong mark, is O'Donnell. Terrific grab back there at left half back. Wants to move it on. Doesn't have a lot on. So this is the long down the line on this occasion by the Dogs. Karmas in front of Andrew. Comes off hands. Davidson thought about kicking it, then checked it. Little handball inside to Poulter. There's that cute kick into the middle from the Dogs. Doesn't work out. It's chopped off by Powell. Off to Jeffrey. High ball inside the forward 50 to the Suns. King can't mark. Roving it though at ground level is the big man. Sells the foot candy. Kicks on goal. Ben King hits the post. Was looking for his first of the night. Did everything right. And hits the left upright. So the Bulldogs now 4-4-28. The Gold Coast Suns 4-5-29. 1 point margin. Early stages of the second term. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
King, leading goal scorer in the competition. Couple of behinds tonight as Johannesson marked the kick out and then gives it on to Matt Kennedy, who marks at left half back, about 55 metres out from the goal the Dogs are defending, the airport end. Kennedy waits, directs the kick in the Norton direction, goes over the top of his head. Davidson lays the tackle on Andrew, gives it to Closey. He sweeps the handball down the line, keeps it in. Can't quite shrug Poulter, who did well, and he'll be happy with the stoppage. Probably a win for the Dogs then as Closey was about to clear it down the line. There'll be a boundary throw in front of the Morris Rioli grandstand here in front of the commentary box. 4 minutes gone in the second quarter. Exciting game of footy. Just 1 point separating the sides. 4-4 to 4-5. Suns lead.
Ball spun back in to the front. Goes Wits out the back though. Rowell takes it. Trying to handball it out in front of Ainsworth. Couldn't find him. Bursting through is Jeffrey. Tackled by Bontempelli. Handballs it out into the path of Rioli. Under pressure from McNeil. Oh, gathered beautifully. Shook away from the Bulldogs' opponents. Well, don't argue on Kennedy as he handballs out to Noble. Kick up the wing, looking for a target. Ainsworth, strong overhead. In slippery conditions with Johannesson bearing right down on him. Great grab by Ainsworth, who has it right in front of the interchange gates. Kicks up towards half forward off the hands of Sanders. Did well to gather at ground level in the fluoro boots. Off to Bontempelli. Now Williams. The Dogs go up the wing by hand to Johannesson. Back to Williams. Now Davidson kicks up towards half forward. English going back. Spilt the mark. Crashing in is Collins. Collected Karmas and won the ball. And the Suns are able to steady as Andrew chips it to Noble.
He's a big man, Collins. That would have hurt. That would have hurt.
That's like a fridge hitting you, that one. Jeez.
But the Dogs are doing well. They're actually sliding one back, and Johannesson's that extra run sliding back, which allows them to then counter-attack with their feet. And here they go again.
Bailey Williams, beautiful handball out to West. West gets the kick away just as he's brought to ground. Running back with the flight of the football is Collins. It probably will reach the boundary line. He's about to be tackled, and it goes over and out in the right forward pocket for the Dogs.
It's his 9th game here, Sam Collins, so he knows the conditions pretty well by now.
I reckon he's played 8 good ones.
He knows the body. He knows that hitter, that's for sure.
He's 2-time Best and Fairest winner as well.
Yeah, wow.
In it comes. Dogs trailing by a point. It's in their forward line. Coming through is Norton, still going. Taken by a couple of Suns in the tackle. And won't go any further. There'll be another ball up. 30 metres out directly in front. Dogs into attack.
So, English, Wits, go at it again. English, big reach over the top. Tapped it to West, trying to get a handball onto Norton. Taken by Richard, snaps on goal. It's hit the post again. It's about the 4th one we've had tonight. 4-5-29 the Dogs. 4-5-29 the Suns. We've played 6.5 minutes in the second term. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport live from Marara.
Former Pie, John Noble, kicks long. He's had a busy night. And he kicks to Long. Ben Long marks at half back. He looks to switch it inside. Johannesson stands the mark. He'll probably go down the line now. And he bombs it 50 metres up towards half forward. English in front. It just sort of held up a little bit. There's really no breeze at all. But the kick just held up and Witts couldn't get to the contest. And Tim English, it's been a great duel between those two giants. English defensive side of the centre. The grandstand side of Marara with 4-4, in fact 4-5 apiece now. Scores level. The Suns got a little bit of a break in the first quarter. The Dogs pegged them back late. Karmas in front. Couldn't come down with the mark. Comes to Liberatore. 55 out. Kicks towards the top of the goal square. Excellent mark there by Hewland. And he got rid of his opponent, Bontempelli. No easy feat. And he takes the mark in defence for the Suns. He's not sure where to go. He'll favour the grandstand side once more. Witts has got away from English and he'll float over the top. Karmas was brave in front of the pack. Handball's no good. Came straight to Johannesson. Off to Poulter. Poulter's kick was smothered by Andrew. Coming through his harms. Gets around Witts. Dummies the handball to his teammate and he kicks out of bounds on the full on his left boot. And the excitement fizzles out.
That won't...
Clearly not a natural left footer.
Yeah, that won't help the rating either.
Yeah.
The new AFL video game, he's been flat about it. Had it up on socials. He was going around the club saying, surely.
That one went over the fence. That wasn't just out of bounds. That went out of bounds over the fence. And between the line and the fence, it's another 7 or 8 metres.
He said he was a 75. He said, I'd like to be bumped up 2 or 3 to 80. So he's got some work to do on the maths as well. Does Harms. The kick goes up the wing. Umpire has spotted a hold. It's going the way of the Suns, going to Ben King against Rory Lobb. If you want to listen to the showdown, you can go on the ABC Listen app as well. The Crows and Port Adelaide going at it. Early stages, the Crows 2-3-15 to Port just 1 behind. And that is on the ABC Listen app. If you'd like to tune in, King steps around Lobb on the mark in front. O'Donnell couldn't take the mark. Free kick spotted at the back.
Yeah.
It's a late whistle. He was edged under it. O'Donnell. And the free kick has been paid to the Bulldogs. He goes laterally to Dale, who runs into the middle of the 50 and goes short to right half back to Liberatore.
Again, the passing was pinpoint. Libber off to Bramble. That kick's not so good. Just as you praise him, he's kicked it out of bounds on the full. So the second doggy's kick in the last 90 seconds or so has gone and turned over the footy to the Suns. It's a long way from goal, though. It's on the outer side on the wing.
But we can see Johannesson here. He's sliding back inside 50, making that extra. And it seems as if their plan is to get turnover and then use their feet going forward.
Will Powell's kick is marked by O'Donnell. He's done it a couple of times. The son of the former... Well, he's played 2 sports, didn't he? He's an AFL footballer for the St Kilda, played cricket for Australia. As the kick comes from O'Donnell to Norton. Oh, in front was a mark taken by Powell. Excellent. He was about 4 in the pack. Here, the front position, it was a big stretch, and he had it long enough, said the umpire, and he's paid the mark. So again, a little bit stagnant, though, the Suns. He'll bomb it long once more. King's caught behind. Lobb will go up in front. Got his hands to it. Couldn't take the mark. Bramble busy again. His kick outside defensive 50. Wasn't clean. Wasn't marked. Richards comes through with it. Beautiful handball off to Liberatore. His sweeping ball is long into the path of a teammate. Misses its target though, and it'll come to Touk Miller. Turnovers on here for the Suns. Can they make advantage of it? Second grab long. Quick kick into the forward line. Here's Melrose's Joel Bowden. He's on his right boot, though. He swings back onto his left. Goes by hand to Holman. Back to Roses. He's 35 metres out. Will he have the carry? It won't. It bounced in front of the doggy on the last side of defence, but away to the right-hand side for a behind.
He is on the precipice. He is right there on the edge. He's about to get it. He got that running onto his right foot, and he's a natural left footer. Turned back inside.
Got on his left, though. I think he got a little bit caught. I think he just got too close with his feet. I mean, if he took that extra little bit length of stride, he would have got around the ball a little bit more.
A bit more purchase on it was needed from Melroses, who is another favourite up here in Darwin and the top end. The Dogs coming out of defence. O'Donnell, short kick to Richards. His famous names all over this field today. Richards wearing the number 20 for the Dogs. Kicks up the wing to Harms. Takes the mark in front of Holman. Headband on, as per usual. Goes laterally to Bramble, who sees a target in the middle of the ground. Kicks it inside to Johannesson. Immediately goes to the outer wing. Williams waiting for it. All the Suns flooding back. Williams forced to go short by hand to Lobb. He gives it back to Bailey Williams. Kick up towards Vandermeer. Takes the mark 60 from home. Handball over the top to Sanders. Witts tries to close him down the snap into the 50. Good fist away in the end from McNeil was Rao. The Suns got up the middle of the ground, moving it quickly. The handball had to hit the target. Ainsworth couldn't gather. In the end, tried to tap it out into space. Here's Fiorini for Gold Coast. Handball forward to Long. Couldn't shake the tackle. Handball back to Fiorini. Takes a cheeky bounce. Steadies himself. Kicks into the pocket.
Malcolm Rosas. There he is, the NT boy. Oh, he's passed it
unselfish.
Joel Bowden was up and about. Roses took the mark in the pocket and the ball was centred straight to Ainsworth. And you'll have to wait, Joel, for a Mel Roses goal.
Interesting approach here. He's about 30 metres out, straight in front, and he's gone for a snap.
As Chad Wingard says, Ainsworth from directly in front, 35 metres out, snaps it around the body. And I love it when a plan comes together. Ainsworth gets his first. The Suns get their first goal of the second term. 5-7-37 Gold Coast. The Dogs 4-4-28 as Robbie Williams rings out around Marara Oval. 13 minutes played in the second term. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Our experts Chad Wingard and Joel Bowden.
And you called it right, Mitch. They all flooded back the Suns and then they got a turnover and off they went. They had to wait for a couple of people to move forward. Malcolm Roses got down forward unselfishly. We'll mark this one down for young Roses as an assist, but he got forward, got the pass in the pocket, and they finish off with a round-the-corner goal from directly in front.
Down on the boundary, the great Charlie King. Charlie, what have you got?
Yeah, this grandstand is full, which is 7,000, so I reckon they got about 10,000, maybe 11,000 here, so it's a good crowd for a good game of footy.
It's a great turnout.
Buku Kamas in the middle, comes down to Fraser of the Bulldogs, and they go inside 50. Norton works his way to the front, but Collins was a beast and punches it away. Poulter. Now Anderson, though. Off to Powell, who's such an important player across half-back. Gives it to Flanders. Now to Rioli on the bounce to Walter. Stripped of the footy by Bramble. Poulter back to Karmas, back to Poulter. They're working it tight on the boundary line. Clever kick around the corner. In best position was McNeil. Short pass was excellent inside 50, and West will line up. He's considering giving it off. He shouldn't really, because the player was in the pocket on a much tougher angle, albeit closer to goal. But West isn't too far off directly in front, and from 30 metres out should line up for goal number 2. To bring it back to a 3-point ball game. Dogs 4-4, Suns 5-7, 16 minutes gone. West has hit the post. Number 5, we reckon. 4-5, 29 Dogs. Gold Coast 5-7, 37.
There's been, I think, about 5 into the woodwork so far. Still, though, plenty of goals as well. 9 of them for the game. The Suns have the lead at the moment. They exit defensive 50. Over the back, Walter couldn't take the mark. Harms has pushed off it. Fiorini for the Suns. Handballs it forward to Walter, who's taken over the boundary line fairly by Rory Lobb. And the ball will be spun back in right next to the interchange gates. If you want to join the conversation tonight, 0437 774 774. That is the ABC Sport text line. If you're listening in the crowd here in Darwin on local radio, let us know where you're sitting. Ball spun back in, tap to the front. Anderson gathers for the Suns, kicks up towards half forward, floating from the side, unable to take the mark. In the end was Cleary. Ball wrapped up at the back. Not going anywhere. Ball up 55 metres out from the Suns' attacking goal. They lead by 8 points.
And Rory Lobb's doing a good job on King, but he's getting help from Johannesson and other Bulldogs falling back in that space.
Pretty dour second quarter, just a goal apiece. Good tight footy, though. Just unable to put the major scores on the board. Buku Karmas holds Walter off, won the tap. And then Karmas is brought to ground. And there will be a ball up just inside 50. Suns into attack, kicking to the airport end. In front again, Karmas. Liberatore was there. Going through strongly was Humphrey. Flipped out the back. Might have been taken... it's a Dogs free kick, in fact. Comes to Harms. Steps around Fiorini. Gives it back to Liberatore. Hack kick down the line. In front, clever play by Rioli. Got his body in better position in front of McNeil. And he marks 70 out from goal. Out at right half forward. Just 15 metres. So I think the umpire, in fact, looked like he was going to call play on. The mark was dropped by Noble. Comes to Fraser. On the up, handball to Sanders. He's got West running past. Vacant goal square. Runs to 55. No one in there. Can he slide it home? I think it's across the face. It is. Just as the Suns defender was running back into the square. Missed opportunity by the Dogs. They're up to 4-6-30, trailing by 7 points. 16 and a half minutes gone, second quarter.
2 in a row from West. He missed the set shot and then he's missed a goal that he probably should kick as a small forward. He's now had 3 direct shots on goal and he's only got 1 goal too.
They got a let-off in the end, the Dogs, but on this occasion, or the Suns, the kick-out is a shocker from full-back. It was Joel Jeffrey who speared it up the middle, looking for a tight target, and Poulter has cut across and taken the intercept mark. We'll have a chance to go back and have the set shot from about 45 metres out. A chance for his first goal this season in his first game this season, Caleb Poulter. The locks flowing under the lights here in Darwin. Poulter's kick is on the way. It's not even going to make the distance. And out on the boundary, almost taking the mark. And in the end, dropping what he should have taken is Riley West. The kick was sprayed across the face. All the players back on the goal line. West was able to get there uncontested, and he dropped the chest mark. Ball to be spun back in deep, and the Dogs attacking 50.
All but 6 players inside that attacking 50 of the Dogs. It's a really crowded forward line. The Suns pouring back in number to try and jam it up.
That's 2 misses for Riley and then a drop chest mark.
Yeah, like Bulldogs would be pretty filthy at the moment. They've had some set shots and easy goals, but they're just not making the most of it.
There's Kennedy again. Gave it to Harms. Flips one over the top. Collins met heavily by Latham Vandermeer. Davidson lays a strong tackle. Hold is the paid, though, and a relieving free kick will go the Suns' way. And so Hewland comes up with it, 15 metres out. Charlie King down on the boundary line.
Mel Roses has come off and he's been on the phone for about a minute and a half, so it's a long conversation. Not sure what it's all about.
Mel Roses, local boy, got plenty of family and friends here, I'm sure. Almost found a major not long ago, couldn't quite get it through. The Suns on the outer side through hands go along the boundary line. Long kick towards Long, who couldn't take the mark on the second attempt. It's not drag it in on ground level. Tries to just paddle it away. Stolen by the Dogs and Williams. Handball wide to Davidson. Long goes back into the Suns. Flirting with the boundary line. Kept it in. Kicks up towards half forward. And Cleary is the only one back there for the Dogs. Steps off his line, though. At right half back. Now he's under pressure. Has to run to get away from Ainsworth. Did in the end. Got it to Dale, who kicks out wide. Too wide. Past the arms of McNeil and out on the full. And Joel Jeffrey will have ball in hand. I mentioned before the game, Joel's auntie painted boots for a number of players today, and they're wearing them tonight on a special occasion.
He gains about 50 metres with those boots, and Walter who promises a lot, has come out and taken a strong mark. A centering ball looking for King is brilliant, and King's strong hands. He had a player behind in lob. He played players dropping back on him in front. A good, strong, leading forward mark.
It's a good battle, this, isn't it?
Very good between Lob and King. And King got there on the lead. It was a nice hit up from Walter, and I'm sure Joel Jeffrey's pretty pleased that terrible kick in that he did got sprayed across goal, and then he's able to pump the ball deep inside their attacking half to result in a shot on goal to King.
Leading goal scorer in the competition for his first of the night, a couple of behinds so far. He sits on 24 goals. Does he bring up 25? The goal umpire doesn't move. He pumps the right fist. And the Suns go out to a handy 13-point lead in a low-scoring game here at Marara. 6-7-43 to 4-6-30.
Looks to me, Chad, like the Bulldogs don't want to give the ball up, and they want to hit targets through the back half of the ground, even out to the wing. And they've made a couple of mistakes there. And the last two goals for the Gold Coast Suns have come from Bulldog turnover. One there out of bounds on the full. The one prior to that was a turnover going into their forward line. But the Suns continue to bang it forward. They continue to get it long down the line. And that one, a hit-up mark to King. They're able to now just skip out to a 13-point lead.
Yeah, and Gold Coast are just dominating the inside 50s. I mean, it's 26-18, but I mean, Western Bulldogs have had 2 extra marks inside forward 50, and like I said, they're playing to their strengths, which is their ball movement. But like you just said, their turnovers are killing them. But Bulldogs could well and truly be winning this game if they kick straight. They've had more chances at goal, and like I said, just not. Oh, geez, that was a big hit there.
Ball rolls forward the way of the Dogs. They win it by a hand. Back to Liberatore, who can set up something inside the forward 50. It's over the head of Karmas at the back. Trying to find a target was West. Sanders on hands and knees. Gets it to Richards. Shakes one. Shakes two. Gives it back to Sanders. Snap on goal. And again, the instant response from the Dogs. They won't go away every time the Suns try and pull ahead. The Dogs get one back. And on this occasion, it was Riley Sanders snapping on the right boot who gets his first goal of the night. The Dogs, 5-4-36 goes... hang on, I'm reading the score again. 5-6-36. I thought the maths was out. 5-6-36, the Dogs. Gold Coast Suns, 6-7-43. 22 minutes played. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Our experts, dual All-Australians, Joel Bowden and Chad Wingard.
And Chad, you called it. It was a massive hit out of the centre from English. He just bashed it forward 20 or 30 metres. The Dogs got the momentum in behind the ball. They get it down to within 20 metres and they snap a goal. Nice snap from Sanders, and they get some reward just for pure effort, getting it forward.
Must have been too much hair on the field for the Dogs. Norton on, Poulter off. So we wait for the ball back in the middle. Poulter's been pretty handy tonight. He's been an odd player, hasn't he?
Poulter.
Mixed results at Collingwood. He's come first game of the year for the Dogs. He's very tall. He's like 194 centimetres. He plays on the wing, plays a bit up forward. But he's been pretty good tonight. Over the top it comes to Miller, who's been fantastic as well. Running onto the footy is Anderson. Gave it to Holman. Suns go forward once more. Spoil over the top.
Roses.
It could be a goal. It's across the face.
You got to kick that.
Very good crumb from 30 outs. He swept on it, had the left side, but just pulled it a bit too far across the face. And another behind to the Gold Coast Suns. 6-8-44, plays 5-6-36, 23 gone, second quarter.
Well, both his kicks have been... he looks like he's a bit jittery. He likes playing in front of him. He's rushing it and he's under-kicking it, which means he's kicking the top of the ball when it's spinning, over-spinning. And he's just not quite hitting the middle of the ball.
Back into the side this week for a home ground game for Roses. Maybe a few nerves early as the Dogs try and go up the outer side, and Yulin is there to see the ball out. Just an update from the Adelaide Oval. The showdown is underway late in the first quarter. The Crows 3-4-22 lead the Power 3-1-19. Do you still keep a close eye on the showdowns, Chad? Played in a few of those.
100%. I love the showdown. I still think it's the biggest rivalry and the best rivalry this game has to offer.
I actually agree, and that's pretty sacrilege coming out of Perth. From the restart, Bonsampelli goes forward looking for West, couldn't take the mark. Powell's there to worry Norton out of it now. Comes out Saffiarini, wrong side for him, tried to handball it to Rioli, bumped off it by West, tight against the boundary line. Ball eventually goes out. There'll be a free kick though paid.
Oh, wow.
Wow, it's going the way of Harms, and I think it's going against...
They're called holding the ball. He didn't have the ball.
It's a very interesting decision. It's going the way of the Dogs. Harms kicks it inside the forward 50 at the back. Unable to take the mark was Davidson. Ball comes down. Norton trying to find a teammate by a hand, ripped off it in the end by Holman. Ball goes underneath the pack and they'll ball it up. That was holding the ball. That was very interesting.
Maybe because he dropped it and picked it up again, but maybe the umpire thought he had the ball the whole time, but he actually got dispossessed, so he didn't have the ball.
Vandermeer holding his arm after some heavy contact. Quick snap around the corner coming from the Dogs. Ed Richards sits through to the left-hand side for another behind to the Dogs. So it is 6:8:44 the Suns, 5:7:37 the Bulldogs, closing in on half-time, 25 minutes played in the second quarter.
I actually thought it was going to be a holding free kick.
That's what I thought, holding the man.
He didn't have the ball, so I thought, it's a holding free kick, and then went, well, hang on, it's gone the wrong way. Confusing times out in front of the crowd down there who probably didn't have any idea what was going on either. The Suns through Powell. He kicks up the wing, looking for a target at the back. Lob knocks it down. Kennedy doing the roving, was tackled immediately by Miller. Wits gathered, got it off to Long. Handball inside to Flanders, getting chased down by Williams. Kicks it out in front of Ainsworth. Has plenty of room. Left half forward. Time to gather. Davidson corrals him. He's looking for Roses in the pocket. Kicks it up high. Can't get over the top. In front. And in the end, winning the free kick was Cleary.
And that was unbelievable by Cleary. He knew that he was playing in front the whole time. And Roses had nowhere to go. He couldn't lead up. He took his leading patterns away. So he had obviously Gold Coast had to put it over him. And he just defended so well. That is defence 101. That's very impressive body positioning.
And Davidson just corralled and just waited for him to make the mistake. And now the Dogs have it back.
Johannesson inside defensive 50. Out to the wing. And the Dogs still controlling the footy out there. So Liberatore. High kick. This is looking for distance. Straight down the line. Norton's caught behind. Collins with the fist. Ground level, Davidson gets there first. Gives a handball off. Off the ground goes Bontempelli. Will now receive the footy. Just taps it on, looking for Norton, who paddles it along the ground into the path of Kennedy, who soccers it off the ground. Any means they'll move it forward, and they've got it inside 50, but they've turned it over the Suns. Powell steps around Vandermeer and kicks out in the Humphrey direction. He marks on the point of the square at right half back. In front of the grandstand here at Marara, Bailey Humphrey looks for Long. Coming late is O'Donnell, but Long, beautifully weighted football. And Long marks on his chest in front of O'Donnell. Then kicks high. Roses got a couple of Dogs to beat. Roses sets himself a little bit too short. And again in front, Cleary played it very well. Held his ground and spoiled it out of bounds at right half forward.
Yeah, Gold Coast forwards are just getting stuck behind their opponents. And I saw it before with Ben King, like even Lob's playing in front of him, and you really got to rely on a longer kick, and they're not getting the purchase on it. And it's easy to defend because you've got the time in the air to actually get back and help. So Bulldogs are defending really well and being assertive with their dominance and assertive in front of their opponents.
They've got a forward half stoppage here. Wits taps it down. Roses lays the tackle. Rouse spins out of traffic. Gets it to Fiorini. Now Anderson decides to take it on himself. Kicks towards the top of the goal square at the back. Walter flew high. Couldn't take the mark. Fraser was in the pack as well. Off hands, out of bounds. So a boundary throw in just left of the goal face. Deep inside, attacking 50 for the Suns. They still have the lead. They lead by 7 points at the moment. And doing a bit of attacking as we speak. Ball spun back in. Wits tries to tap it down. Straight though to guess who? Tom Liberatore. Clearance kick out to the wing and strong mark taken and paid to Rory Lobb, who was in front of the footy on this occasion. And has the ball, defensive side of the wing, and goes through to centre wing and finds Kennedy out wide.
They play on quickly, the Dogs, and within a blink of an eye have kicked it inside, attacking 50. Good spoil over the top. West there, Norton. West close, hard up on the boundary line. As a kick on it, carry it doesn't. Noble chops it off at the top of the square. The kick was intended for Vandermeer in the left forward pocket. Didn't have enough weight on it. And so that forward move has been shut down by the Suns' defence. And it goes into the pocket to Powell, who's had a busy quarter. Stopped quite a number of forward thrusts from the Dogs and been able to set something up for the Suns. This time a bit stagnant. Kicks it long in the Wits direction. Walter from behind. Long there as well. He soccers off the ground, off the side. I'm pretty sure,
He didn't mean it, but it is.
Yeah, he's looking to kick it straight down the line, wasn't he? But it's off the side of the boot. Goes out of bounds in front of the Dogs. Interchange, and Cleary comes up with a free kick. He kicks in the calmest direction. Flying high, third deep, I should say, was Norton. Anderson received the footy from Jeffrey. Back to Noble. Noble goes dangerously to Collins, but he's good enough to mark before West could get to him. He chips it over the top, just 15 metres, and away go the Suns out towards the outer side, out towards left half back, about 60 metres from the goal there defending. And it's chipped back inside to Rioli, who marks on the point of the square out at left half back.
And it looks like they've put Lobb into the forward line.
Yeah.
They've moved him forward for another marking target.
Siren sounds to end the first half here. Marara Oval in Darwin. Round 9 action from the AFL. The Suns leading the Dogs by 7 points. 6-8-44. The Gold Coast Suns 5-7-37. The Bulldogs. A 7-point margin after 2 quarters played on what is truly a beautiful night out here up in the top end. It's not too humid. It's not too hot. Plenty of fans getting their chance to catch one of the 2 Suns games this week. They'll take on in the next round. They'll play host to the Hawks, who had a win earlier today. They had a 35-point win over the Demons to go along with the Essendon win, held off a fast-finishing Sydney by 8 points at Docklands this afternoon. The goal kickers in the game so far here, though, in Darwin for the Suns. 2 goals to Graham, 1 to Ben King, and also singles to Ainsworth, Flanders and Rioli. Got them all there. For the Western Bulldogs, they've kicked 5 goals, 3 to Kennedy and singles to Sanders and West. If you want to join the conversation here for Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport, you can do so on the text line 0437 774 774. It's great to have your company wherever you are listening to us on ABC Radio, on ABC News Radio, on Sport Digital, or of course on the ABC Listen app. If you are listening on the app and you want to check out what's happening at the Showdown while we have halftime here, second quarter's about to start at the Adelaide Oval. The Crows 3-4-22, lead Port Adelaide 3-1-19. You can find that on the ABC Listen app. Mitch Turner here alongside Rob Cross. Charlie King is on the boundary. Our experts up in the box watching on and about to give us their thoughts. Both dual All-Australians, former Tiger, Joel Bowden, and proud member of the Northern Territory alumni and community, Joel Bowden. Alongside him, other dual All-Australian, former Hawk and former Port Adelaide player is keeping a close eye on the Showdown as well, Chad Wingard. Your thoughts, gentlemen, on the first half?
Well, Mitch, Chad, my phone has just blown up. I spent nearly 20 years in Melbourne, and a bloke from Western Australia and a bloke from South Australia have said that the Showdown's the biggest game of football compared to something out of Western Australia. I've got Carlton, Collingwood, Essendon, Richmond fans texting me incessantly saying, what about Anzac Day? What about Richmond versus Carlton round number 1? What about Collingwood, Carlton? What about Essendon?
It's Showdown.
Oh, my God.
Well, it's absolutely Showdown. I'm from the West.
Yeah.
It's Showdown.
I'll give it here. The Showdowns, they're split even. They're 26 apiece.
Yep.
So
it's
so
split
that
even.
it wins.
And the highest crowd number to attend a Showdown ever?
It would have been about 55, 56.
Yeah.
But if you think about Fremantle, no disrespect to Fremantle or West Coast, but there's 40k difference in membership. So it's big brother versus little brother in terms of success too. So, and they're winning the count by a fair bit. And you talk about the, I suppose the Anzac Day. There's 10 teams in Melbourne. Adelaide really is split. Adelaide is split. That state hates each other. I mean, it divides families, it divides workplaces, it divides cafes, it divides everything.
As the great Jack Dyer said, he refused to read the paper because it was in black and white. He refused to drive through Collingwood because he couldn't bear to go into the suburb of Collingwood.
And they play those games twice a year. That's the other thing.
And that's why Anzac Day is
You've
probably
got to
the
be
biggest day on the agenda.
Very good to win a Showdown medal, though. Really good to win a Showdown medal. You win a Showdown medal,
Yeah,
Chad?
I won 1. Robbie Gray's the leader with 5.
5.
He's won 5, and then 4 players are on 3.
This is controversy, Rob. You barrack for Carlton. You know what Melbourne's like.
Carlton, Collingwood.
Collingwood.
Well, we're split here in the box.
95,000 people at Anzac
Just like the
Day.
rivalries are split, we are split here in the ABC Sport box between the Showdown and a number of other rivalries.
It's like saying the Boxing Day test is not the biggest test of the year.
It might not be anymore.
I'll
tell you what, the Adelaide
It's
Oval,
in Melbourne. It's sold out.
But Collingwood's also got a rivalry with other clubs, and Carlton's got rivalries with other clubs. The best thing about Port and Adelaide is that's their only rival. That's why it's, I think, so big. That's my only reasoning.
I am a West Australian, and I'll cop flack for this, but I agree with Chad Wingard. It's come up because we're not even calling the Showdown tonight. That's on the ABC Listen app. But if you want to give your opinion on the best rivalry in footy,
anyway,
let
back
us
to
know.
this game.
0437 774 774. If you want to let us know pass on our text. I guarantee if we sit on the text line, the guys calling the showdown will think it's for them anyway. So they'll read them out and you'll get twice the airtime. Chad Wingard, Joel Bowden, your thoughts on what's happening here as we get back to the Suns and the Bulldogs? It's the Suns that lead the Dogs at halftime by 7 points.
Well, it looks to me like simplicity is the name of the game for the Gold Coast Suns. Yeah. The track record of their game style here is to get territory and get it inside 50. They're winning the inside 50s comfortably, but the Dogs are winning the disposal. You can see they're using the ball better. They're trying to go through the corridor. It's risky at times, and that's where the Gold Coast have scored their goals. They've scored it on the turnovers, whereas the Dogs, and we saw a beautiful passage of play out of the back line. It was quite daring. They went across the goal, deep into the back pocket, and then it was 5 kicks without the Gold Coast Suns touching the ball, and it resulted in a goal. So 2 different styles of game. One is a more kick and catch possession that the Dogs are playing and playing well. The Gold Coast Suns are playing a simple game, get it forward, get it inside our 50, but they are breaking down, Chad. They're breaking down because it's more predictable, and the Bulldogs are able to slip back and drop one further back. Johannesson's been doing it a lot of the night. However, it was interesting to see Lobb move forward late in that second quarter. So what the tactics are going into the second half, I don't know, because what I am confident about in the Northern Territory, even though it's night time and I'm starting to get a bit of a chill because it's probably got down to about 26 or 27 degrees, the ball will be slippery in the second half. So it'll be territory and it'll be getting the ball as close to goal as possible, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, and I'll just touch back on that again. I think you see here, Western Bulldogs have had 25 more disposals and 22 more kicks. So that means that they're obviously getting more kicks and more marks, like you just said. And Gold Coast, 60% of their kicks are long compared to 38% for Western Bulldogs. So they're picking apart. But where it breaks down for Gold Coast, like we said, it's their last kick inside forward 50. They've had 29 inside 50s for 4 marks. So they've had 6 more inside 50s than Western Bulldogs, but Bulldogs have got 2 more marks. So it just means it might not just be their ball movement in terms of the way they want to play. It's actually when you get to forward 50, the dilution, because of Western Bulldogs are going through the corridor, they're getting even numbers. But when Gold Coast are playing that more dense kind of game style, kick to a contest, when they look up and they look forward and go inside 50, there's more numbers. So to find a mark inside when there's 12 numbers inside forward 50 compared to when Bulldogs are going through the corridor, break a line, then they're able to find a mark. I mean, Bulldogs, for me, I think it's more on their terms, but they just haven't kicked straight. But
Riley West has probably given up 3 or 4 chances himself.
I think so too. And I think it shows the importance of Bulldogs' centre clearances, because when they get the ball forward their way, they look more potent. But yeah, I think Gold Coast, they know the conditions, so I don't want to back against them because I still think that this is their game to lose. But their ball movement, they're going to have to rely on some footy breaking off the contest, and they need to find some marks. They need to capitalise off these inside 50s. If they're getting more inside 50s, which happens nearly every single game for Gold Coast, because they are a stoppage-dominant team, they are a pressure team, but they need to make sure they're getting bang for buck, and you can't be missing shots from 30 metres out and not capitalising. So for me, it's almost who's going to capitalise the most, and whether it's off turnovers, whether it's off whichever way you want to score, you need to kick a winning score. And at the moment, both teams are letting themselves down in front of the sticks. We talk about the posts that have been hit. Nearly every single one of these goal posts have been hit tonight. So it's been an interesting game, but a really good game at the same time.
We'll get to the news headlines in just a moment. But before we do, just a last thought, the midfield battle, because they were beaten up last week, the Gold Coast Suns. And that is an area they take pride in, with Miller, with Anderson, with Rao. They were smashed by the Lions. How have you seen the battle in the first half? Because it's 2 very strong midfields going head-to-head. Who's probably taken the points in the first half?
Well, if you look at the stats, you'd say Western Bulldogs. Obviously, you got Libba's got 20 touches, Bontempelli 17 and Fraser 13, Ed Richards 12, and the highest ball winners 15 for Noah Anderson. And then you look down to the line for Tuke Miller, he's only got 12. But the clearances is another battle, which is 13-16. Western Bulldogs is up. I'd say at the moment it would be Western Bulldogs. I think they look a little bit cleaner. Their disposals looks a bit better. And you look about the Ed Richards and Bontempelli, they look a little bit more potent with ball in hand. I think Tuke Miller is probably the only one who looks to lower his eyes a little bit. We saw that in that quarter. But the rest of the Gold Coast mids are really just kicking it up and bombing and just getting territory. And I think you can just see the potency in the Western Bulldogs with their skills by foot.
We'll get some thoughts from Joel Bowden as well as Chad Wingard after the news headlines in just a moment. Remember, you can text in 0437 774 774. This one coming in from Hamish in Wagga that says, good calling, Turns and Crossy. Listening by 774 ABC Melbourne. Travelling on the Hume home after a day out in Canberra at Capital Premier League action. Say hi to Q. Q is calling the NRL, though, in Townsville tonight. He'll be here later in the week. Currently at halftime here in Darwin, it's the Gold Coast Suns leading the Western Bulldogs by 7 points. Let's get the latest now, though, from the ABC newsroom.
ABC News, I'm Thanmaya Navada. Authorities in Pakistan-administered Kashmir say at least a dozen people have been killed in the past 12 hours as India and Pakistan continue to trade fire. Islamabad says its forces have hit an Indian airbase and other targets in response to Delhi striking 3 of its bases. The Indian military has accused Pakistan of launching mass drone attacks along its western border, endangering civilians. Pakistan's Information Minister Ataullah Tarar denies residential areas have been targeted.
As per our right to self-defense and right to respond, we have only targeted their military installations, their military equipment, their radars, their military bases, because these are our code of ethics even in war. So we completely deny that. We refute these allegations.
Thousands of protesters have marched in cities and towns across Australia demanding action to address violence against women. Sydney's first Aboriginal councillor, Yvonne Weldon, delivered the Welcome to Country at Hyde Park after hundreds of people marched from Belmore Park. Demonstrators in Melbourne rallied outside the Victorian State Parliament, and protesters in Canberra demanded action from the re-elected federal government. ABC reporters spoke with protesters calling for urgent reform.
Stop killing us. Stop using violence against us. Women don't matter in this country. Our safety doesn't matter.
Almost every woman you know has experienced some type of violence against them.
I just know a lot of people that are affected by domestic violence. I guess this cause is sort of close to me.
The Greens are a step closer to holding on to the Queensland seat of Ryan as vote counting continues in the federal election. Stephanie Felicina reports.
As the votes continue to be counted this weekend, the ABC has yet to call a winner for the seat of Ryan in Brisbane. The current projection is that Greens MP Elizabeth Watson-Brown will take the seat by an estimated 11,000 votes. She won the seat by a margin of 2.6% in the 2022 Greenslide election. If Ms Watson-Brown holds on, it would be the only seat held by the Greens in the lower house, after party leader Adam Bent officially conceded his seat of Melbourne on Thursday. The counting will be put on hold tomorrow to allow campaign workers to spend Mother's Day with their families.
Meanwhile, Labor's David Smith is ahead in the very tight race for the southern ACT seat of Bean. The incumbent MP leads independent Jesse Price by fewer than 200 votes. He edged ahead earlier today. A child has suffered serious injuries after being hit by a car in Melbourne's southeast this morning. Here's Jason Katsaris.
It's understood the 10-year-old child was on a scooter on Park Road near Churchill Avenue in Cheltenham at about 10 o'clock this morning when they were struck by a car. The child was taken to hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. The driver of the car, a 51-year-old Aspendale Gardens woman, stopped at the scene and spoke to police. An investigation is underway and police are appealing for anyone who witnessed the incident or has dashcam footage to contact them.
To Queensland, where a 5-year-old girl has died after a 2-vehicle crash on the Darling Downs. Police say the incident occurred around midday at the intersection of Drayton Connection Road and Luck Road at Vale View near Toowoomba. The girl was taken to Toowoomba Base Hospital in a critical condition but later died from her injuries. 3 others were taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. South Australia has exported $855 million of wine to China in the first year since China removed its heavy tariffs on Australian wine, accounting for 86% of the country's total. The latest Bureau of Statistics figures also reveal South Australian wine made up 69% of Australia's global wine exports, an increase from the previous record of 65% recorded in October 2020, shortly before the tariffs were introduced. SA Wine Industry Association Chief Executive Inka Lee says the wine export industry is still facing challenges amid a highly unpredictable trading environment.
The results are encouraging, but we know that there is a lot of work to do. We need to continue investing in growing demand, not only in China, but in our markets right across the world.
And in NRL news, the Canterbury Bulldogs have produced a stunning second-half turnaround to defeat the Raiders 32-20 in Canberra. The hosts scored 4 tries in the opening 40 minutes, but were shell-shocked after the break as Canterbury scored 32 unanswered points. And you're up to date with the latest from ABC News. For more news at any time, you can download the ABC Listen app.
Hello, Patrick Stack here. Do you like sport and good conversation? Then we've got a great podcast for you. One cracking story, in depth, every day, in under 15 minutes. It's called ABC Sport Daily, and you can find it on the ABC Listen app.
G'day, this is Macca.
Macca, you're talking about the cost of everything. Chocolate went up 500% last week. So we'll start growing that in far northern Queensland. Come on, you Queensland farmers. How about pineapples? Grow some cacao.
Love you to join me every Sunday, ABC Radio and the ABC Listen app.
This is the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport.
Richards' kick is beautiful to English. Handball off to Kennedy. Had to go back and get it. Chips over the top. 1-on-1 in the goal square. Clears the pair wrestling. Buku Kamas, I don't think, got a hand on it or maybe a fingertip. It's given a goal. It is a goal. And Kennedy gets his third.
Fiorini takes a cheeky bounce. Steadies himself. Kicks into the pocket.
Malcolm Rosas.
There he is, the antique boy.
Oh, he's passed himself.
Ainsworth directly in front, 35 metres out, snaps it around the body. And I love it when a plan comes together. Ainsworth gets his first.
Walter, who promises a lot, has come out and taken a strong mark. A centering ball look for King is brilliant, and King's strong hands sits on 24 goals. Does he bring up 25? The goal umpire doesn't move. He pumps the right fist. The Suns go out to a handy 13-point lead in a low-scoring game here at Marara.
Trying to find a target was West. Sanders on hands and knees. Gets it to Richards. Shakes one. Shakes two. Gives it back to Sanders. Snap on goal. And again, the instant response from the Dogs.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the AFL.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Second half almost underway here in Darwin at Marara Oval, the 29th AFL match to be hosted at the venue. The Suns have had a stranglehold on this arena in recent years. They've won their past 6 here and kicked a massive score on each occasion. Tonight they hold an 8-point lead over the Western Bulldogs, 2 top 8 sides who playing very good football this season and looking to potentially stamp themselves as top 4 contenders. Hasn't all gone the Suns' way so far, but they find themselves in front by 7 points. Just a couple of texts to get to on the text line if you're joining us somewhere across the country, whether it's on ABC local radio, whether it's on the ABC News Radio channel, on Sport Digital, or of course on the ABC Listen app. 0437 774 774. Wanted to get to this one because Straubs in Palmerston said the old Richmond number 11 still knows his footy. Great call, ABC. Just want a little bit of love coming through on the text line for Joel Bowden, former Tiger, who is one of our experts here, alongside Chad Wingard, joining myself, Mitch Turner and Rob Cross. So a little bit of love coming through there from Straubs in Palmerston. So local.
Well, thanks, Straubs. I think Straubs might be an Essendon supporter. I wonder if he thinks the biggest game of football is between Adelaide and Port Adelaide.
No, he believes that the Bombers meeting West Coast is always a fair rivalry. He says West Coast supporters are arguably at those worst in those games. From a Bombers perspective, nothing better than swinging the scarf. So we're having a chat about the great rivalries in football, given it is the showdown tonight. There was a special shout out from Brett Sprigg back in the studio. He said the Sydney Derby's pretty good at the moment. They've got a fair bit of heat. Chad Wingard is still very much in the showdown camp.
Just the best, best rivalry, not the biggest, the best. I mean, you split 26 all.
And it's very, very hard to win best on ground in the showground. But Robbie Gray's won 5.
There you go. One coming in as well from...
He's a freak.
The Territorian a former Territorian rat here. Ewan Hill in Melbourne says former Northern Territorian rat here. Suns v Dogs. He also says Charlie King, Australian of the Year this year and every single year. He's on the boundary doing some great work. Our second half about to start. Chad, Joel, what do you think we'll see from this second half? The Dogs continue to take it on through the middle?
I think they will. I don't think Beveridge is the coach who will change his tactics mid-game. I have a bit of a concern right now. I'm looking in the midfield. I don't see Matt Rao in the midfield to start, and he has been a bit quiet. And I wouldn't think that he's going to have 2 quiet weeks in a row. So that's Miller, Anderson, and who else is in the centre? I can't quite see. It looks like Humphrey maybe.
Yeah.
No, Matt Rao. And I just looked on
Matt Rao's on the bench.
He's on the bench.
Second half about to get underway here at Marara Oval in Darwin. Saturday night footy for ABC Sport. Here's Rob Cross.
Suns lead the Dogs by 7 points. English is crashed to the ground in the ruck contest. It goes up towards half forward. The Dogs trying to clear through Bailey Dale, momentarily slips, opens the door for Holman, runs onto it inside the first 20 seconds. Nick Holman bangs one through for the Gold Coast Suns, and the margin out to 13 points. Gee, that was slick. And Holman, the bash crash style of half forward that he is, cleared a path, had the skill to scoop it up and banged it through from just 20 metres out directly in front.
And it was simple footy, Chad.
Yep.
Took Miller, had the chance. He just kicked it off the ground. He just bashed it forward, got it in. They get the ball close to goal, and all of a sudden we see a very, very quick opening goal within the first 43 seconds of the third quarter.
I tell you what, that's the umpire they do their best job, but when a ball up goes directly on top of the ruckman, it makes it almost impossible to get any momentum going your way. So that ball went straight on English's head, and Witts is like that should have been called back because Witts had a pure run at it, almost outside the circle. Impossible to kind of stop that momentum, and took Miller, like you just said, simple footy, get it going forward when you got the momentum.
I really thought they would call it back because I was handing over to Rob Cross to get the second half underway, not to be. The Suns extend their lead out to 13 points. This much better bounce. Favoured Witts on this occasion. Tried to tap it down to Anderson, who was in there. Lost the ball. Liberatore shows a clean set of heels. Kicks it inside the forward 50. Coming out of the goal square is Bontempelli. Couldn't take the mark. Sockers it off the deck from the boundary. And it was shallow to the near side. It was almost something special. Had Chad Wingard out of his seat. It is a minus score, though. 5-8-38 the Dogs. 7-8-50 the Gold Coast Suns. Third quarter is only 2 minutes old. Seeing some fans sitting on the fence around the ground as well, the legs hanging over. You don't see that every day at the AFL.
Back into play. Closey wanted to go backwards by hand to Noble. And he gets patted on the head from a couple of teammates, Humphrey and also Holman.
You know this field very well. If they brought the lines in at all, it looks like they've got a lot of space. Or is this kind of normal with how much space they have from the lines to the fence? What do you think?
Pretty normal. It looks normal for me. You can see
Okay.
the synthetic grass. It's close to the fence. It's generally you want to be at least 5 metres from there.
McNeil hacks a kick out. Mark, was it paid? English plays on anyway. Vandermeer from 40 metres, set sail from goal despite the pressure late from Touk Miller. That's the quick reply and a good one from Vandermeer. He kicks the goal from right half forward, pretty close to the boundary line, and the margin is back to 6 points. 6-8 plays 7-8.
I know you like this, Chad. They just played Slim Shady over the speakers, and then Lathan Vandermeer with a short shaved peroxide hair, like Slim Shady himself, pops up and kicks the goal.
I absolutely love the personality that's going around at the AFL at the moment. The last 2 years, it really brings another factor into it, and I think we're learning a little bit from the American sports world, and it just creates such an environment. You see the personality of players more, and it just, I'm really liking that edge that's changed it. That was a classy finish by Vandermeer. I mean, he is on his right foot, pressure behind him. Those kicks are really hard to hit straight because they go across the face a lot just from the natural bend of a right footer that's on that side. So that's a really classy finish, and he knew it straight away. He hit up that boot.
Ball back in the middle. English taps it down. Coming away with it, though, is Miller for the Suns. Kicks inside the forward 50. King out in front, punched away from Lobb, who's back there again in defence. Did well as to gather off the deck with one hand. Did Rory Lobb. Gave it off to Dale. Into the run. Richards kick up the wing out in front of Vandermeer. 2 speedsters in Vandermeer and Noble. Ball goes out of bounds. Boundary throw in. Just around from the Bulldogs race on the grandstand and broadcast side of the ground. The lights are terrific at this venue. I will say that. A lot of night football played up in Darwin, and they are taking full effect at the moment as Witts punches it out into space and over the head of Miller out of bounds. It was close to insufficient intent, but a little bit of a set play potentially they just didn't pull off.
That's a good observation, Mitch. Good observation, Mitch, about the lights. We had a fifth light tail put in directly on the wing there, so it increased the lux to about 1,400, which is for the top grade football.
It looks absolutely terrific, and the players, I imagine, are benefiting greatly from it. The entire venue is absolutely sparkling as we have another repeat stoppage here below our commentary position on the wing, and Witts accidentally just puts an arm across the face of Tim English in the ruck. Just copped him across the nose, and free kick will be paid. Charlie King down at the boundary. Ball goes inside 50 from Tim English. Punched away from Norton. Humphrey, he's taken in a tackle. Richards set upon him. Not a lot of prior, but he hesitated for a split second. Richards got him, wins the free kick, holding the ball, but will have to take the kick from right half forward. Kick from outside 50, 45-degree angle.
And he hesitated. That was it. Prior opportunity has become hesitation. If you don't actually take that instant split-second option, then you're going to be called for holding the ball and resulting in a shot at goal.
It's almost just nothing more than a flinch in the end from Humphrey. Richards with the free kick from the paint of 50. It's a beautiful-looking kick. It's the result they're chasing. The Dogs get their second goal of the term. Back-to-back goals for them. And the score, all of a sudden, is level. 7-8-50 apiece here in the third term at Marara Oval. 6 minutes played. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Our experts, all Australians, Chad Wingard and Joel Bowden.
Yeah, and Richards, that's a really classy finish. I mean, he's had 15 disposals now, 1 goal, and I think his kicking, his actually efficiency is at 60%, but when he gets the ball in hand, he normally is very damaging, and he's been one of those players, like we said before, like one of the most improved. He's obviously gone from the half back to on ball now. He's in the centre circle, centre square as we speak. And another player that's just, Bevo can just chuck in anywhere and play anywhere. Like he's got so many of those players. And they live off of it. They live off it. And they play their role, whatever's given to them each week.
Standing beside Rowell at the moment. Huge leap by English. He's crashed to the turf pretty heavily. I think he's okay. He leapt all over the top of Witts. And the Dogs go forward once again. Bouncing his way with a lovely left foot kick up in the Vandermeer direction. Almost had it. It was pulled off the footy. Play on the call. Bounces into the arms of Norton. He wanted his left boot. Was forced into his right and slid off the top of his laces through for a behind only. The Dogs lead it, though, by a point, 7-9 to 7-8. Golden chance goes begging.
He ran straight into the points and kicked a point there on his right foot. That is reminiscent of Malcolm Blight all those years ago.
Come on, 2 left-footers in the box.
You put
criticising a left-footer for the poor kick on the right.
I'm putting that on my left. I just dribble it on the ground. That's all it is.
Dribble kick from Chad Wingard.
I'm not using my right foot there. Not that speed. It's too hard to kind of control on the opposite, especially when you've got your left. Like
the Suns bring it outside of their defensive 50 up to the wing. Punch back forward by Lobb. Bramble gathered. Handball's a little hot for Bontempelli. Allowed Witts to come through and get it to Rao. Now Ainsworth. The Suns trying to work in tight confines on the wing. Handball back from Fiorini to Rowell. His kick up towards half forward. No one home but O'Donnell.
Ben Long will get a message from Dimmer very, very soon to play in front as a forward. You can't be 5 metres behind.
Really poor kick by O'Donnell in the end. Roses cut it off. Little dance, step left, then right, then kicks it inside the forward 50. Mark taken tight on the boundary line by King. It wasn't maybe the perfect kick from Malcolm Roses, but he just managed to keep it in. And King stood tall in the pack when others went to ground and takes the mark. He'll have to snap this one.
He's going for a drop punt again. I mean, it's probably almost too far out, but yeah, it's a tough angle. I mean, they are a little bit more shallow pockets here, but it's going to take his best effort.
Ben King is tucked up in front of the Michael Long centre. Crosses the paint of the boundary. Kick is on the way. It starts left. It stays left. It was a tough angle for him to work it through, and he couldn't. It's a minor score, but it does give the Suns back to level pegging. 7-9-51 apiece here in the third term. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
I've got him for 1-3 so far tonight. King, As the ball comes in dangerously to centre-half back, but a good strong mark by Kennedy. They switched play from the outer side back into the corridor. Bramble has it now at right half back. He shorts it to Richards, who marks on his chest. On the wing, he's got Rowell on the mark. Goes back to Bramble. He has to wait, and now will kick long inside 50. Up in from the side there. It was beautifully setting himself as Jeffrey. No other Dogs player really flew against him, and Jeffrey had his name written all over it from an early stage. He kicks it into the middle. Mark taken by Humphrey. Plays on quickly to Flanders. Flanders through the middle of Marara. Kicks inside 50 now for the Suns. Flying there is Long. Couldn't take the mark. Quickly bounces to his feet. He's got someone going past by hand in Witts. Witts might be too tall to grab it. He's trying to hold O'Donnell off the footy. Comes back to Ainsworth. Back to Long. He's 45 out from goal. Gets away from Richards. The kick will swing from left to right. And Ben Long kicks his first goal of the night. And the lead goes back to the Gold Coast. They lead by that goal, 8-9-57 to the Dogs, 7-9-51.
Well, very lucky in many respects. He dropped a mark and then I think almost threw the ball over his head trying to find Witts as the rover. But the ball came out with a little bit of pressure and he just smart. He just took 3 quick steps and got the ball onto his boot and put it straight through the middle down the Michael Long Learning and Leadership Centre end. Lovely finish from Ben Long.
Yes, and Bulldogs down the other end. Let another chance go missing there. I think they don't. I'm looking at Norton, and I haven't seen him in too many contests. So for Western Bulldogs, he's only had 5 touches. He's only got the 1 mark, but he hasn't really half many contests going down in the forward line. And just then, they're looking at Riley West and Liberatore in that contest. Norton needs to make sure he's there. We can't rely on the smalls to create a contest airily. So Norton now, for me, is the one that I'm looking at that needs to step up for the Bulldogs. But like you said, Ben Long, what a finish. Great finish there from Gold Coast.
I was saying pre-game how he stepped up, Norton, in the absence of Sam Darcy. They need him to step up again tonight. The Dogs out of the middle managed to turn a Suns ball back their way. Bontempelli, uncharacteristically, though, spears it into the path of Hewland for Gold Coast, who immediately goes wide to Closey. Has the ball on the outer wing. Plays on by hand. Goes to Powell, who runs his measure. Kicks it inside the forward 50. Lob this time in front. Outdid King. Initially went the spoil. And on the second attempt, grabbed the ball and took the mark and will repel the Dogs outside defensive 50 once more.
The kick up towards the wing. Big fly from behind from Davidson was ineffective. The Suns player wants a push and he'll get it. So there'll be a Suns free kick on the outer side.
Well, if you try to take a specky on the wing and you don't touch the ball, I think they call it an unrealistic attempt.
So Will Graham has it. Bombs it to centre-half forward. In front, Karmas. Knocked away from him. Over the top to Holman. Trying to get away from Bailey Dale. Goes by hand back inboard. Rowell. This could set his night alight. Matt Rowell. Brilliant goal from 40 metres. On the fly, tight angle, and the Suns' shining star gets his first goal of the night. And all of a sudden, after a pretty dour first few minutes of this third quarter, a mini break for the Suns. 9-9 plays 7-9, 12 minutes gone.
Chad, interestingly, Rowell started off the field and didn't come back on till the 4.5 minute mark of this quarter. He's come on, he's had a couple of kicks, and he's kicked a beautiful goal on his right foot there in the Wanderers forward pocket. So behind that light tower over there in that forward pocket, that's where the Wanderers Football Club have their change rooms, and that's the home of the Motlops and a number of other champions who've played in the AFL and the NTFL.
Joel Jeffrey played a little bit at the Wanderers as well. He had a couple of clubs, but
Joel
Wanderers
Jeffrey,
is one of them.
And well, most recently we've had Stephen Motlop come back to the Northern Territory and play in the NTFL. In fact, he played in the Premiership this year with Southern Districts Football Club, but the Motlops are entrenched in the Wanderers Football Club, and that's their pocket over there.
Did you play with Stephen, Chad, or did you miss each other?
I played with Stephen, not Daniel. So, yeah, Stephen actually saved a showdown for us. We're speaking of it just before.
I do remember the one.
Yes.
Rowell out of the middle, goes inside the forward 50 for the Suns, off hands, crashing through his Suns player in Flanders, and Flanders is taken high in the tackle. Bramble got him around the shoulder, and Flanders will have the chance to go back and take the set shot 40 metres out directly in front, maybe even 35. just a bit overzealous in the tackle, harder and lower Flanders.
Well, this is Gold Coast's first shot at goal from a free kick. So it just shows that Bulldogs, I know one was in a ruck contest, but some of their tackling needs to be a little bit more efficient. You can't give away a free kick down this part of the field.
Already has 1 goal to his name tonight. Sam Flanders, set, shot, no mistake. A dead eye in Darwin. Sam Flanders gets his 2nd goal. The Suns skipping out to a bit of a lead here in the 3rd term. Starting to establish a little bit of dominance on the scoreboard. The Suns are 10-9-69. The Dogs 7-9-51. 14 and a half played. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Mitch Turner alongside Rob Cross, joined by Chad Wingard and one of NT's own. He's an NT man, Joel Bowden.
Yeah, well, Gold Coast are just getting the ball in their territory. It's been in their 50, in their half. The clearances are going their way, and Gold Coast are just putting pressure on it and forcing Western Bulldogs into turnovers or free kicks. And yes, you talk about Matt Rao, that was a great finish before, but scoreboard pressure's now starting to mount for Gold Coast, and they're really starting to dominate this part of the ground in their centre clearances.
Charlie King downstairs on the boundary.
Yeah, just a weather check or temperature check, 25 degrees, and the humidity has moved to 70%.
It's gone inside forward 50, pick up by Karmas now at full forward. They've made the change. Norton's come off and getting his legs rubbed, and he's looking up joyously to see Buku Karmas come up with the foot. He rove the pack and spin around on his left boot from 30 metres out directly in front. Much needed goal by the Bulldogs. They are up to 8-9-57. They bring the margin back to 12 points. And after 11 goals are scored in the first half, the scoring is opened right up, 7 already, and we're just over halfway through the 3rd term.
And I've got to say that it's momentum forward. So it looks like Witts has had a rest. He's standing up on the boundary line, keen as mustard to get back on. But Walter took that ruck contest. English jumped all over him, pushed the ball forward. They get it inside 50, and a lovely, lovely goal there. Turned onto his left foot, Karmas, and popped it through. And again, I think the Bulldogs, just a little bit of ascendancy when they get the ball going forward. They're slightly cleaner, and they're able to finish off their work.
The Gold Coast Suns, once they get one on the board, the Dogs' ability to answer back has been quite incredible. Out of the middle, Rao is tackled by Liberatore. 2 Bulls going at it. Liberatore gets up again, lays another tackle, this time on Miller. Gee whiz, Tom Liberatore. He's one of the toughest players we've seen in the modern era. 2 big tackles on big-time players. Here he is again, Liberatore. Tries to get the ball to Fraser. Spits out the side. Liberatore again lays the tackle, this time on Rioli. Graham in there, he's tackled by Fraser, and they'll ball it up. The attacking edge of the centre square, favouring the Bulldogs forward 50. English over the top, tapped it down. Clearing kick by Anderson for the Suns. Clean bowls King. First one back there is Williams for the Dogs. Uses Cleary, handball over the top to Dale. Swings it by hand wide to the wing, and Williams now to Sanders, all by hand. The Bulldogs going to get themselves in trouble if they're not careful. Bramble had a little fumble. Eventually was able to get it back from Sanders. Now the kick up the wing looking for Davidson. Wasn't in best position, but he did well to get the ball onto boot and gets it to Karmas, who's a kick and a half from home.
And Karmas has got plenty of options. He goes short in the end and finds Poulter, but he's wide outside forward 50, about 70 out, left half 40, pokes it into the pocket. McNeil waits for the crumb at the back, couldn't run onto it. Rioli was there. Latham Vandermeer slides through and it was taken high. Shot on goal to the Dogs. Lath Vandermeer attacked the footy. Now there's a little bit of push and shove in the pocket between a couple of Suns players and Dogs, but Vandermeer in the left forward pocket will be able to run around onto his right boot about 15 metres out. And the players are so well drilled at this, you'd expect him to go pretty close and bring the margin back to a goal. Exciting contest. Round he runs, and Vandermeer rarely misses those. It's his 2nd goal for the quarter, 2nd goal for the match, and it is indeed back to a 6-point ball game. Suns lead 10-9, Dogs 9-9.
Jeez, it's just a momentum game, isn't it? You just see Gold Coast pull away, you think they're going to obviously put some scoreboard pressure on it, and bang, bang, Bulldogs come back with back-to-back goals, and it's on the back of they're still playing the same way. They're taking risks by hand. They're obviously relying on some of their short kicks and trying to find marks, and both teams are playing the exact same way they want to play, the exact same way they've played all game. And like I said, we asked the Bulldogs who's going to step up, who's going to create a contest. And without Norton down there, they've obviously created contests and got a free kick. And yeah, Buku Kamas is obviously creating that contest down there. He took two marks and 2 contests, and he's been a real changer. Probably keep him up there now, especially with Norton obviously not on at the moment, but he's been impressive. She's got that hop, doesn't he, Buku? Like instant leap.
From a standing start
it's unbelievable.
with little momentum. He can raise the bar and raise the height in the contest. Ball back in the middle. Anderson tackled from behind, dispossessed by Liberatore. Rioli goes into the Suns, was clean. Got it out to Jeffrey. Couple of the NT boys combining. Back to Rioli, under pressure. Kicks into the forward line. King on the lead. Couldn't take the mark. Brought it to ground. Handball across. It comes back to Rioli. Can't quite gather. Johannesson pushed him off it, but Frazier's handball for the Dogs gave it straight to Humphrey, who snaps and misses.
Is that a goal assist? If it goes in.
It almost was. He handballed it straight to Humphrey Frazier, and he couldn't bring it around. 10-10-70, the Gold Coast Suns. The Bulldogs 9-9-63. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport Live in Darwin.
And Jared Witts is back on, so English won't have ascendancy in the ruck.
Bailey Williams, Norton back on as well. Out towards half-back for the Dogs. Harms went in, might have been taken. No, the umpire comes in and says, my ball, just as the ball came out to the Dogs at the back of the pack. So between wing and half-forward for the Suns, grandstand side of Marara, English and Witts. Great tap by Witts, reached around with the left mitt, gave it straight down the throat of Rowell, into the path of Humphrey. He's about to be tackled, pushed away, back to Rowell. Here comes Liberatore, shrugs him, gives it back to Fiorini. Fiorini on the boundary line, inside 50, long pushes and shoves, still going at ground level, got rid of Cleary. Walter wants the footy, he's wrapped up by 2 Dogs. And there'll be a ball up, 30 metres out, about 45-degree angle from the Suns goal, who lead it by 7 points.
Ball spun back in. Witts to the front, roving it beautifully as the captain. Anderson outside the boot from the pocket. Bounces off the chest of Ben King and rolls over the goal line.
Did Lobb get a finger on that? Or did he just drop the mark?
Terrific if Lobb got a hand in, but he just needed the ball to stop. And on the slippery deck, it rolled through. Rush behind. 10-11-71 the Suns. 9-9-63 the Bulldogs.
So the Dogs bring it out down the grandstand side. Williams by hand to Johannesson, back to Williams. Williams over the top to a little bit of space to Frazier. Frazier closed down by Fiorini. He's got Harm short if he wants him on the boundary line. He pokes it longer to Poulter, who got away from his opponent. Poulter marks in front of the interchange gates. Onto the left boot. Pokes the kick in the Norton direction from behind Andrew. Yuland flew as well. There's a push. There'll be a free kick to the Dogs. It's going Norton's way. Didn't look much in it, but the umpire was pretty well positioned. And Aaron Norton will kick from outside 50. Plenty of space between the big sticks, even though he's around towards the boundary line.
Here's your man, Chad.
Yeah, needs to step up. Sam Collins has had his number so far. This would really help his case.
From the paint of 50, he hits it off the side of the boot, kicks it in towards the pocket. Karmas is there. The ball spiked away powerfully. The snap on goal, though, coming from the Dogs. It won't curl around enough, and John Noble takes the mark in the left-back pocket. He's got a couple of Suns breaking for him. And he's now got 50 metres, which will help the Suns to clear the danger zone.
They call this a lot, don't they? Like, as a player, you just automatically want to stand the mark, but you're obviously within that restricted area, deep in the I suppose, the goal line, yeah.
The entire
Well, they just took him from the goal line to inside the centre circle, so that's a 70-metre penalty.
Anderson, short, over the top, Rowell, outstretched, manages to reel it in with a left hand. He's on the attacking edge of the centre square. Matt Rowell rolls, kicks to the top of the goal square. Big fist coming from behind from O'Donnell. And goes out of bounds, deep in the right forward pocket for the Gold Coast Suns.
I'm sorry, Mitch, you can't take someone a 50-metre penalty from the goal line in to the
it was right there. Yeah,
circle.
There's no kick. He just ran the whole way.
It was a big one. It was a massive 50, that's the case. It's about 70 metres. Ball spun back in. Bontempelli out of the air, kicks it, trying to clear defensive 50, and it lands on the chest of Holman. 45 out, he turns, spears the kick, looking for long, dropped the mark. Was able to regather, back to Holman. Now Rowell through traffic is dispossessed, tackled, holding the ball.
That's a poor decision because where he kicked it, where he was going to mark it was about 2 metres away from where he actually marked it himself.
It's a Richards free kick. He turns it over though, kicks it straight to Rioli. His kick A grubber inside forward 50. Slippery conditions.
Ping pong.
Getting the best of the players. Johannesson goes out, tries to get it to Norton, who can't take the mark. Handball back now to Rioli for the Suns, who kicks inside forward 50. Cleary marks. Goes quick, and Bontempelli will take it at centre-half back.
Lots of turnovers here, but the Dogs in control momentarily. Comes to Richards, to Buku Kamas. He streams through the middle. Now he's held up, not sure where to go. Pokes a kick to the running Norton. Coming the other way, Collins. Collins was ferocious on his attack on the footy. Norton might have just been in the wrong channel from where we're sitting in the commentary box, but I wouldn't be running into Sam Collins' space. Yuland kicks one over the top to Noble. Noble switches play back into the middle. He had options down the wing, but he favours the corridor. Well, the highway, is that right? Joel Bowden comes in towards Rao. Beautiful kick by Rao. King all alone. And Ben King can line up for goal from about 45 metres out directly in front for his second of the night.
Did you just see Johansson run through him? That should have been another 50. I'm not sure if you people who know. I've never seen a more blatant 50 in my life. That should have been. He just ran straight past him. He just missed him, didn't he?
Did Norton take a half step over there? Or was he just in the wrong channel?
I'd take a lot of half steps around the fridge, Collins.
I wouldn't take any.
King from directly in front. They've just steadied a little bit. The Dogs were coming at them to push the margin back to 14 points. King's long kick, the leading goal scorer in the competition. He's got it. He's up to 26 for the season. He's second of the night. And the margin is out to 14 points, 11-11, 77 to 9-9, 63.
And Matt Rowe's getting into the game. I mean, they went through the corridor, or the freeway as I call it, Rob, and they were fast. They got the ball through there. They go fast. They hit a couple of targets, and then Ben King gets a shot at goal, and he converts. He's the leading goal scorer in the AFL, and he does what he's paid to do, and that's kick goals.
Yeah, and obviously got 10 more inside 50s now, and they're really putting the pressure on it. But again, at this moment, what happened with Gold Coast is I'm not sure if they take the foot off the accelerator a little bit, because Bulldogs seem to just get their way back into games after they kick a couple goals. So for me, this is the moment for Gold Coast to show their maturity, get a centre clearance or just get a dirty clearance away, because every time they've had momentum, Bulldogs are able to steal that back. So this is a moment for me for Gold Coast to show their maturity.
They kicked a goal within 2 minutes of a Suns goal 4 times.
Yeah, there you
tonight.
go.
So that's the response to the Dogs have been giving all night here in Darwin. On this occasion, no handball over the head by Anderson into the path of Rowell. Had it knocked away from him. The Dogs win it. Liberatore to English. Can the trend continue? Bontempelli, clever toe poke out in front, was looking for Davidson. Couldn't get it to him. Jeffrey was composed. Handball to Fiorini, who just throws the ball away. Going back inside the 50 now are the Dogs. Norton from left half forward. Kicks a high ball flying from behind, unable to take the mark. Was West, who almost laid the tackle before he'd hit the deck. In the meantime, the Suns have cleared it up. Out through Noble, and now Graham will kick to the outer wing and over the head of all comers. Out the back of Williams, who is tackled immediately by Roses from have a ball up. West laid the tackle
That was
before
unbelievable.
he hit the ground for the drop
he was in a
mark.
marking contest as he was falling, made a tackle. That was super impressive.
Ball on the outer side on the wing. 27 minutes gone, third quarter. Gold Coast 11-11, plays Dogs 9-9. 14-point lead. Suns go inside, attacking 50. Neat little nudge and a great one-hander by Humphrey. He is a smart footballer. Gun midfielder, but can go forward and kick goals. And he just used the weight of the football, the weight of his body to push Cleary under the ball completely legally and brought it in one-handed.
I mean, not as special as his mark early in the first quarter, but that's just as special in terms of the skill involved to take that mark. So here's a moment for him to really step up and, like you said, create that momentum and hold it for Gold Coast.
For a 20-point lead late in the third quarter, his first goal of the night, Bailey Humphrey. He's got 6 for the season so far. From 48, he's across the face and will just scrape in for one behind. And the Dogs are let off the hook a little bit. The margin is 15.
Jinxed him again. Sorry, mate.
The trend of the game here would have the Bulldogs will come back. They can't let the Suns get too far out in front. And just when you think the Darwin dominance is coming into play, the Dogs just manage to hit back every single time. Bontempelli receives the kick in. Handball off to Dale. Very short kick to Liberatore. Back to Bontempelli. Steps inside Graham. Now back onto his right side. Takes the bounce on the logo. Bontempelli to half forward. Andrews solidly hit by West. The two ricochet off each other. The Dogs win it back though. Dale Handball couldn't find McNeil cleanly. In the end, he did manage to take possession. West. Handball to Vandermeer. Little deflection on the way. Back to West. Handball out in front of McNeil. He's met solidly. The Dogs trying to work it forward. Can't find a clean target. Now Andrew for the Suns. Handball's out into the path of Ainsworth to Rioli. Clever handball to Rosa. Spun on a dime. Tapping the ball in front. Back to Rioli. Now to Witts. The ruckman run down by English. Just got to boot the ball. And Williams will go off the deck. Come out to James Harms. Please hit a target. Williams back to Harms. Kick is smothered. Gathered by Rosas. The Northern Territory boy chips over the top. And Closey says, calm down. I'll take the mark. Yeah. I'll have the set shot from 50. If it sounds chaotic, that's because it is.
And Roses, that's the first time this game that he actually looked a little bit calmer. Like everyone else was moving faster than him, and he just had a bit of calmness in his approach, and he just lowered his eyes and found a mark. I mean, seems like maybe the nerves are starting to settle in. He's starting to feel confident.
And there were two Bulldogs back at the top of the square, so he couldn't bomb it long. He's found Closey 45 metres out in front of the Michael Long learning a leadership centre in the pocket.
Closey kicks from the paint of 50. Wow. It's a nice-looking roost. Goal umpire barely has to move. That is a bomb from Closey. And the Gold Coast Suns, they do have momentum on their side. 12-12-84 are the Suns. The Western Bulldogs are 9-9-63. Margin is finally starting to spread. Game high 21-point margin here. Third quarter, 30 minutes played. Joel Bowden and Chad Wingard.
I was just about to say, it's 30 minutes gone in the third quarter. Fatigue will start to set in. But that was just frenetic for about 2 or 3 minutes there. And the Gold Coast have managed to get through that chaotic period. And, I mean, it went into slow motion for a moment when Witts got the ball and he was run down by English at a glacial pace.
Hit the foot too.
Just got the toe of the foot. But then it was that little bit of calmness that Rosie showed where he's able to just find Closey in the pocket there, and that was a fantastic finish.
His first goal of the season as well. So terrific finish from Sam Closey.
Joel, it's about the toughest pocket on the ground, isn't it? You've got to aim left goal post and it invariably swings, and that's exactly how he did it. And the Suns are going forward again through Anderson. Lob in front. Through hands of O'Donnell. Out to Davidson, who's been busy all night, and he marks in front of Fiorini. Left half back. Dogs would like one before three-quarter time if there's time. It'll be a long quarter because we've had 11 goals in the first half. We've had 10 in this quarter alone. So nearly as many goals in one quarter as the whole of the first half. A long kick towards half forward. Mac Andrew went up high about 4 deep and spoiled the ball forward into a pack situation. We'll have the ball up on the outer side on the logo. 31, nearly 32 minutes gone. Sorry, Joel. It is a 21-point lead to the Suns.
Yeah, Dimmer should defend for the last couple of minutes, I think.
They have the lead and would like to take it into the final term. They do play the conditions well. Now, insufficient intent has been paid. It was socket out of the pack. Marcus Bontempelli is pleading his case with the umpire. I was about to say I have never seen an umpire change their decision, but we have seen it a couple of times.
I saw one last
few weeks, so maybe it is worth it sometimes. Kick from the Gold Coast Suns goes up the wing, out the back. Holman was trying to run onto it. Rosas got there first for the Suns. Lays a nice tackle. Williams just put it on the deck and tried to whack it forward. In the end, it falls to Humphrey. His kick ricocheted straight into Lob, who was tackled by Miller. Taken to ground. The two subs still yet to be used. Harvey Gallagher.
And I'm not sure, Mitch,
Rogers.
how that was a legal disposal. He tackled and put the ball on the ground.
As we're speaking, there's a little bit of movement down on the bench, so there might be something to report shortly from the Bulldogs bench. Back underway. Ball tapped out to Graham, who sprays it through the behind, a little bit through the behinds and into the Michael Long centre in the end. Almost took out a window. Thankfully, he didn't. Minor score for the Dogs. Over the Suns, 12-13-85, 9-9-63. Can tell it's a long quarter because it's starting to get to me too now. Rob Cross, take over.
Looks like Latham Vandermeer is taking his seat at the back of the box. Harvey Gallagher has put on the number 12.
How can you tell it's Vandermeer?
He's got
his head.
He's got longer hair than the Rory Lobb. Long kick to half forward. In front was Collins, though. They're starting to take control, the Suns. They lead by 22 points. Danger times here for the Dogs. Maybe they'll be happy just to get to three-quarter time, and there it is, a 22-point lead with a quarter to go. Great finish to the third term by the Suns. They kicked 6 goals for the term, and they lead 12-13-85 to the Dogs 9-9-63.
Rob, just have a look across the field. We've got Bulldogs and Suns players, hands on hips, walking very, very slowly, if they're walking at all. This little bit of extra heat is actually going to fatigue these players more than they think.
Well, the Bulldogs, they don't feel the heat. There's nothing wrong with the heat or the humidity. That was the message all week. They've tried to will themselves into it. They find themselves down by 22 points, but not out of the contest here at three-quarter time. The goal kickers for both sides of the Bulldogs, Matthew Kennedy has 3. Lathan Vandermeer, he has 2, but he's been subbed out of the game. We'll get an update on him throughout the final quarter. Sanders, West, Richards and Karmas all have singles for the Gold Coast Suns. 2 to Flanders, 2 to Will Graham, 2 to Ben King, and singles to Closey, Long, Rowell, Rioli, Ainsworth and Holman. They take a 22-point lead into the break. 12-13-85 the Suns, 9-9-63 the Bulldogs. If you want to join the conversation, 0437 774 774. That is the text line. If you want to listen to the showdown between the Crows and Port Adelaide, that you can find on the ABC Listen app. In the start of the third quarter there, the Crows have a 5-point lead over Port Adelaide. Right now, though, it's all about the Suns and the Dogs here in Darwin. The Suns lead by 22 points. This is Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport.
There are 3 warning levels across Australia: advice, watch and act, and emergency. To learn more, go to the ABC Emergency website and stay listening to your emergency broadcaster, ABC Radio.
This is the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport.
McNeil hacks a kick out. Mark, was it paid? English plays on anyway. Vandermeer from 40 metres, set sail from goal despite the pressure late from Touk Miller. That's the quick reply and a good one from Vandermeer. He kicks the goal from right half forward, pretty close to the boundary line, and the margin is back to 6 points, which might be too tall to grab it. He's trying to hold O'Donnell off the footy, comes back to Ainsworth, back to Long. He's 45 out from goal, gets away from Richards. The kick will swing from left to right, and Ben Long kicks his first goal of the night, and the lead goes back to the Gold Coast. Over the top to Holman, trying to get away from Bailey Dale. Goes by hand back in forward. Rowell, this could set his night alight. Matt Rowell, brilliant goal from 40 metres. On the fly, tight angle. And the Suns' shining star gets his first goal of the night. It's gone inside forward 50. Picked up by Karmas now at full forward. They've made the change. Norton's come off and getting his legs rubbed. And he's looking up joyously to see Buku Karmas come up with the footy, rove the pack, and spin around on his left boot from 30 metres out directly in front. Much needed goal by the Bulldogs. McNeil waits for the crumb at the back. Couldn't run onto it. Rioli is there. Lathan Vandermeer slides through. It was taken high. Shot on goal to the Dogs. Lath Vandermeer. Round he runs, and Vandermeer rarely misses those. It's his second goal for the quarter. Second goal for the match. And it is indeed back to a 6-point ball game. Beautiful kick by Rowell. King all alone. And Ben King can line up for goal from about 45 metres out directly in front. King's long kick, the leading goal scorer in the competition. He's got it. He's up to 26 for the season. He's second of the night.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the AFL.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Three-quarter time here at Marara Oval in Darwin. Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport. It is the venue that they've turned into a stronghold. The Gold Coast Suns, they've won their past 6 here, and they take a 22-point lead into the final quarter. Just a few scores from around the grounds tonight. The NRL earlier today, the Warriors got the win over the Dragons by 1 point. The Bulldogs got the win over the Raiders by 12, 32-20 in that game. Then a 30-all draw between the Cowboys and the Panthers. Very, very rare to see it go through all the way through Golden Point as well and reach a conclusion that is a draw. So a rare achievement there for the Cowboys and the Panthers. In the other games in the AFL earlier today, a 35-point win to Hawthorn over Melbourne, an 8-point win to the Bombers over the Swans. At the moment, in the showdown at the Adelaide Oval, it is a 5-point lead to the Crows 5 minutes into the third quarter. If you want to catch that game, you can jump on the ABC Listen app and look the AFL buttons, you'll be able to find the showdown led by Aaron Bryans there. Just on the text line as well, a couple coming through. Game is good and we have plenty to talk about, but if you have a bit of quiet time, which we might get later, can you quiz Joel on the NT leagues this year and the women's footy up here? It's pretty impressive. So we will have a chat about that post-game, Joel, because I know you're very, very involved and you've been very, very successful in recent times with a couple of flags under your belt as well, which I know you'll love to talk about. Before we get to that, though, Joel Bowden, Chad Wingard, alongside myself, Rob Cross, Mitch Turner and Rob Cross. Let's get your thoughts on what might come out in this fourth quarter, because the Dogs, they're not out, it doesn't feel like they're out of it, but they're on the edge.
Certainly not out of it in my opinion, but we are seeing some tired bodies there at the end of that long quarter. That was a really long quarter. And the Gold Coast continued to do what they've done for the most of the part, except when they were brave and they went through the middle there and they got on the freeway, whisked it down there and scored a goal. But a couple of goals to King, and then, of course, one of my favourites, Ben Long, kicked one very nicely and closely. But I think it was that change when Norton went off the field that sparked the Bulldogs up forward. He did miss what Chad would have just dribbled through on his left foot. Instead, he put it on his right and straight through the points. But it was Karmas who went in there and gave him a little bit of spark. I don't think the Dogs are out of it, but the Bulldogs are gonna have to show some real courage through the middle to keep hitting those targets. Because if they don't, they won't get enough ball inside 50.
Yeah, I agree. And I think Matt Rao really stepped up. He had 9 touches in the first half and 60 metres gained. That is it.
Yeah.
In the third quarter, he had 260 metres gained, 9 touches, 1 goal, 3 score assists, 3 score involvements. And he really stepped up. And like you said, it was in the freeway. That's where he got most of his touches in the most important part of the ground, which is getting it forward. And he's pretty important. It looks like he's not starting on ball. He's starting up forward now, I believe, where he's lining up. But, Bulldogs are never out of it. They're a team that can put on scores very quickly, but they really need something of a contest up forwards because Collins is really dictating down there. Mac Andrews as well. I feel like they're stronger in the contest than obviously the Bulldogs. And I think Vandermeer obviously had a very good quarter. He kicked 2 goals and looked like a shining light for him.
Calf tightness.
Yeah, he's got calf tightness, which means he's done his calf. So that's a big loss for Bulldogs going forward because he was the one that was looking like very potent up there for him.
And they have had some soft tissue injuries in recent times. Adam Treloar's out with calf soreness again after his return. Marcus Bontempelli missed the first month of the season, month and a bit. So just a couple of issues that they want to try and get on top of because at their best they're playing some terrific football. It is a beautiful night here in Darwin in the Northern Territory. It's great to be here for ABC Sport, calling all the action. We'll be calling next week's game as well between the Dogs and the Hawks. We're here all week. The lights are shining. The crowd is in. The Gold Coast Suns lead by 22 points. Final quarter about to get underway as English and Witts go with the stare-off in the middle of the ground. Ball bounced. Witts rises up, taps it down towards Humphrey for the Suns. Dispossessed now, back on top. Tackled by Liberatore, who wanted to hold in the ball. Decision was not forthcoming. Would have been a pretty stiff one at that. Ball tossed up in the air again. Witts tries to take it out of the ruck. He's pulled off it by English. Now Liberatore goes in and he's tackled by Humphrey. A few tattoo sleeves rolling around in that pack.
And Matt Rao's up into the contest, so he started forward and I think he's playing as an extra midfielder.
Witts takes it out of the ruck, rolls one towards half forward. Walter gathers, shakes the tackle, steadies up, looks into the pocket. King can't take the mark. Lob got there late, affected the spoil. It falls to Holman. Drop punt, swinging back. That's the start they wanted in the fourth quarter. Nick Holman gets his second. Right spot, right time, knew how to finish. The Gold Coast Suns extend their margin out to 28 points. Start of the fourth term. Mitch Turner here alongside Rob Cross. Our experts for ABC Sport, both All-Australians, Chad Wingard and Joel Bowden.
Well, interestingly, Chad, Walter ran inside 50 and decided not to have a shot at goal. He tried to pick Ben King out in the far pocket or the fat side of the field. Lob got there with the spoil, but Holman was able to gather and turn onto his left foot and from 35 metres out just slotted it through nicely. What a great start for the Suns.
He's made a good career for himself.
Absolutely.
Hasn't he? Doesn't have all the skills, but
ex-Carlton player. We miss him. Makes for a pretty hard, tough half-forward line with he and Ben Long. As Richards out of the middle, centering ball, top of the square. Where's Norton this time? Big spoil over the top came from Collins. They'll have the numbers at the ground level too. The Suns, they're all over the Dogs at the moment. And there'll be a ball up in the right forward pocket for the Western Bulldogs, 30 metres out from their goal. Dogs in a bit of strife. They trail by 28 points. Still most of the last term to go. But it's all the Suns at the moment as Hewland is tied up in a tackle by Sanders. And there'll be another ball up. Still close to the Dogs' goal. Witts and English. Witts wins it with his left hand into the path of Bontempelli. Diving after the footy there was Liberatore.
No clock on the scoreboard at the moment, so that'd be tough for the players who are looking for the line at the end of the game if they don't get that back up there.
Give it a minute, Mitch. They'll sort it out upstairs.
He'll get there. They got the score is correct. I can confirm that. Ball spun back in. English took it out of the ruck and then it was infringed upon, so we'll win the free kick. 65 from home. Tim English kicks it inside the forward 50. Norton flew high, couldn't take the mark. At the back, came to harms. His kick was smothered. Noble cleans it up for the Suns. Got it to Andrew. Tumbling ball out to the broadcast wing. Bounces on its end. Lob and King one-on-one. Here comes Johannesson with support. Measured kick, lowered the eyes and found the short lead of Fraser, who has it on the point of the centre square. Kicks short to Richards. And if his last set shot was anything to go by, he's a very good chance from here. Will kick from outside 50. Slightly better than a 45-degree angle to the left.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to comment this time because every time I comment on someone about to kick a shot, they've sprayed it. So, yes, we'll see how he goes this one.
Opposite.
Yeah, he's going to miss this one.
Ed Richards makes his approach. Kicks from the paint of 50. It starts right. It's swinging. Chad got it right. It stayed right, and he misses. 9-10-64. The Western Bulldogs 13-13-91. The Gold Coast Suns, we've travelled 4 minutes in the final term here. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
I've got Richards for 1-3 for the night. Collins received the kick out and he goes wide to the back pocket to Mac Andrew. He's got Rioli running past. He can loop the handball over the top to Tuke Miller. He sweeps a long ball back in the Rioli direction. Bounces off his shin. Dogs can turn it over. Liberatore. Knee hand into Johannesson. Through to Harms. Loops on over the top. Fraser, can he turn and go? Quickly through it on the left boot. Richards again. This time he's a bit further out. He's 55 from goal. So he spears the pass in the west direction. That is a brilliant mark in front of Noble. He got it at the full height of his extension. And right on his hammer was Noble, but he couldn't knock it out of his grasp. And Riley West, tough angle.
And Rob, just to go back, I mean, Daniel Rioli kicked it in. He got a handball. He got a kick. He ran all the way to the wing. The modern player is so fit. But then he got tripped over. He got tripped over on the wing. And the umpire doesn't pay a trip. Like, he doesn't fall over his own feet. The boy can run.
West for his second goal of the night. This is a tough pocket, and I think he's across the face. Is he? No, he's just snuck it home. Vital goal for the Dogs. West has 2. And the margin comes back to 21 points. 13-13, plays 10-10. 5 minutes gone, final quarter.
A very, very good kick from West. I mean, he missed a couple of opportunities earlier in the game that he probably would have liked to have taken, but to slot that one through. And it was also Richards who lowered his eyes and found him. Geez, it was a good mark out on the lead. He's not that tall, West. I think he's only about 180 centimetres, but above his head, out on the lead, very, very good mark and a very, very good finish.
Yeah, and he's created a lot of contests today. I mean, you think about something, they've been a bit undermanned. Norton hasn't played his best footy. Buku Kamas is trying his best in the contest, but West has actually created a lot of contests. He's halved it. He does all the hard work, and like you said, good reward for effort because he's put in a good stint today, and it's a great finish for him because that's a tough kick, as you just said. It's one of the hardest pockets to kick a goal from.
The lob forward is the attacking move that Luke Beveridge likes to pull. He's standing there at the moment. They need to find a couple extra goals. Miller, though, by hand in the middle of the ground to Graham. Handballs forward. Ainsworth with the Suns. Handballs off to Jared Witts. He's getting involved. Kicks it inside the forward 50. Roses came from 3 deep. Couldn't take the mark. Ball hits the deck. Dale for the Dogs. Off to Johannesson. Game 201
kicks it out to the wing. McNeil, one-on-one v Rioli, did well to soccer it forward. In comes Jeffrey. Head over it, couldn't take possession. Now Fiorini, he's tackled by Fraser. The intensity's just starting to lift a touch. The Bulldogs know they need to make a run. They trail by 21 points. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
English and Witts. Witts hold front position. He takes it out of the ruck and immediately grabbed by English. The ball's not going anywhere, so we'll restart again.
And the Dogs have got an extra in their back line again.
Diving after the footy, Liberatore. Rouse, he taken high, play on the call. Kennedy comes up with the footy. Kicks the curling ball up towards the 50. Out comes Norton. Can give it if he wants. Goes back onto his left. He's got 3 to beat. Holding the ball, dropping the ball. Good pressure by the Suns. He had Poulter running past. He elected not to give it. And Norton has given up a free kick at half back. And the danger has evaporated. He gets up flexing his ankle or knee. And the free kick will go to Uland.
Had to give that handball to the player running past. And now he's got a sore leg.
You could take your pick on who should be awarded the free kick because he got tackled by 3 Gold Coast Suns players in the end. Collins has it on the outer wing for Gold Coast. Kicks it up, looking for a target. Strong mark. Taken in front by Touk Miller. Takes it, rolls, plays on, kicks into the pocket. Long couldn't outbody Bailey Dale, who did a terrific job to hold his ground, win the mark, and then play on quickly into the middle of his own defensive 50 to Bontempelli. Comes wide to the broadcast wing to Richards. Lovely way to kick over the top to Fraser, who spilt it. Messed up his lines. The Suns win it back. Then they give it back. The Bulldogs, they're trying to handball forward. Can't find a target. In the end, Kennedy is tackled to ground. And it wasn't a great 10 seconds of play from either side. And we'll have a ball up inside the centre square, slightly on the attacking side for the Bulldogs.
Exquisite kick by Richards, wasn't it? Fraser will be thinking about that for a while, I think, if they don't manage to get up, and they've got a bit of work to do. Good play there by Cleary. Got rid of his opponent in Ainsworth, who slips over. Comes back to Fraser, back to Liberatore. They send it up towards 50 again. Lob's gone forward. He wrestles there with Collins over the back of the pack to Powell, who's been tremendous. He loves this ground and he's a very reliable footballer. Gives it over the top. And the kick comes to Jeffrey, who marks on his chest in front of Bramble. Jeffrey at left half back. He's got a player way out on the wing. Mark is dropped. Davidson comes in. He lays a strong tackle, holding the ball. Well played, and they play on quickly through advantage. The Dogs can go up towards half forward. West has got it. He's 65 out from goal. Runs towards the boundary line. Kicks in the lob direction. Coming late is Andrew with a great spoil. And it dribbles through for a rush behind. Well played by Mac Andrew. Lob was set. He had to beat 2 in the end, but great defensive work by the Suns.
Lob's hurt, Rob. Lob's hurt at the top of the goal scorer. He's limping badly after that marking contest.
Look where he's grabbing. Might be okay. Might have just got stepped on, I'm hoping.
So the ball is coming back to the goal square. The score is 13-13-91 Gold Coast, 10-11-71 to the Western Bulldogs. 10 minutes gone last quarter. It comes out from defence to Collins.
Rioli with the kick-in duties, goes short to Collins and runs past and gets it back. Spearing kick up the wing was a ripper in the end.
Nah.
Found a teammate on the far side, holding closely, and Rioli continued on. He started this at full back. Takes the mark on the outer wing. Handball to Powell. On the left boot, kicks up Rosa. She's got a hand on it. Actually knocked it away in the end from the lead of King. The Dogs have won it back. Richards, chip up the middle of the ground to Poulter. Now to Kennedy. 65 from home. Shanks the kick off the right side of his boot. That did not hit anywhere near.
If he was aiming for the goals, he's missed by 50 metres.
It was like when you have the pool cue and you almost miss the ball and it kind of just comes off the side.
He's literally had a shot from 60 metres out and it's out of bounds 40 metres out in the right half forward pocket in front of the Wanderers club.
Not sure whether Charlie can pick up who the Suns player that's been subbed out. Jake Rogers is on, and he himself is limping out on the far side as the ball goes out of bounds again.
There's Holman.
So Nick Holman, who kicked a wonderful goal earlier in this quarter.
And there's a lot of AFL executives up here this week, Mitch, and the commissioner here. I can see
Andrew Dillon, Richard Goyder.
A number of commissioners. I mean, Baines is up there. They're all here having a look at this spectacle.
So thrown back into play, lots of footballers around the ball, and it's not going anywhere. So the Suns are locking this game right down. The Bulldogs will need to get a little bit of space to create something. There's plenty of time, just 11 minutes gone. They trail by 20 points as the Suns will clear from half back.
Suns through hands, through Humphrey. Looping handball now to centre half back. Hewlin had time to run his measure. Kick it inside the 450. Long loses his opponent. Gets free, takes the mark. Suns streaming forward. But almost rightfully so, he turns his back on them in the end and says, I'll take the responsibility. This is my home. And I'll kick the goal. He's gone back directly in front. Will kick from about 50 metres out. Surely the fans will enjoy this. Ben Long from St Mary's up here in Darwin. Directly in front to give the Suns a big lead. He didn't realise I'd written the script for him. He's missed it to the left. It's a minor score. 13-14 92. The Suns. The Dogs are 10-11 71. 12.5 played in the final term.
Harvey Gallagher, the sub on for the Dogs, was involved in that exchange there with Bailey Dale. Still alive, the Dogs, with that miss from Long. Want to get a wriggle on. Long kick down the line to Kennedy. He marks it right half back. Just outside defensive 50. Good marking by Melrose, not allowing his opponent to squeeze by and receive a handball. Or slipping over, opens the door for the Suns. Just a hacked kick forward. Dogs have the numbers, and dropping back is O'Donnell, and he marks on his chest. He's got Johannesson now all alone. Out at left half back. He can take the mark and go. Making some room there further down the ground was Davidson. Oh, Fraser's having a horrible last quarter. Drops the mark he should have taken. And there's a stoppage, and the Suns get a chance to reload. But I do wonder whether Davidson was a better option about another 30 metres down the line. He went short to Fraser, who let him down. Tap one by English. Fraser will make amends. Gets the crumb. Kicks up towards forward 50. Good wrestle there between Norton and Collins. Karmas lends the Shepherd. Clears some space for West. Doesn't quite have enough on the handball though, and Powell does well to chop it down. Collins gives it delightfully to Graham, and the Suns can steady things down.
Graham goes up the wing, hugs the boundary line and finds Ainsworth. Fraser just at times has struggled with the slipperiness tonight. He's dropped a couple of marks that he would normally gobble. He's normally so classy.
And it's just when he does it. Like, there were game-breaking moments. It's in the corridor when they're out. It's a goal difference. And that's the moments that really are going to hurt him. It's when it's not a simple fumble that you just get a tackle when you just cop it. It's when he's out.
They've gone out the back.
They've gone out the back. It should be a sure goal square goal, and that's the. Unfortunately, just being that young, he is a young player, and player hasn't played in these conditions too many times.
Still had 21 touches tonight, 4 clearances, which is terrific. We'll get down to Charlie King shortly. Ball, in the meantime, is spun back in at right half forward. Fraser's ripped off it on that occasion. It spills out to Tuke Miller, who kicks to the top of the goal square. O'Donnell again. He's done it so often tonight. Big fist out into the corridor. Clever tap, though, by Roses. And coming through, Noble went low, as Chad Wingard is indicating. He just lifted the shoulder, dropped the shoulder, lifted the arm. Did it so well. Has drawn the free kick. Will have the set shot before he takes it. Charlie King down on the boundary.
Yeah, Rory Lobb, who limped off, looked in all sorts of trouble, has recovered and just made his way back onto the field.
Charlie King down on the boundary, keeping a close eyes on things. He did it well, Chad Wingard.
Yeah, I don't like this. I mean, I lost a elimination final like this against West Coast when Shuey did it. So, yeah, PTSD.
Set shot for John Noble. Kick is beautiful off the boot. The Suns come from everywhere to celebrate. It's a big goal for the Gold Coast Suns. It extends their margin out to, what is it now, 98 to 79, 27-point margin. 14-14, 98 the Suns. 10-11, 71 the Dogs. 16 played in the final term. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Terrific goal, his first of the night, John Noble. Our experts in the box, Chad Wingard, Joel Bowden.
Yeah, and Noble has been one of those players that I think has really helped him this year. I think Gold Coast always had a really good nucleus of their midfield, but the outside players, that's guys that you want the ball in the hands, and obviously Rioli they've brought as well. So some of their skill-based players, their half-backers, their wingers, they're starting to play a lot better and be more reliable. So he's one of the players that I've thought was a massive get for him, because they didn't have another score source outside of their stoppages and turnover battles. So to have someone from the back 50 to really be a potent kick with Rioli and him, and speed as well, has been a great pick-up for him.
Lob's gone into the ruck. Neat play by Anderson. Sold the candy. Gave it to Noble. Just kicked the most recent goal. He pumps it long in the long direction. Bailey Williams, handball, sold his team out under a bit of pressure in O'Donnell. Walter charges through. Roses there on the hands and knees. Comes out to Closey, now to Ainsworth. Clever little poke kick. But sliding in and taking the mark there is Liberatore. And his kick is excellent to Kennedy, who marks outside defensive 50 at left half back. Kennedy looks inboard to the Joel Bowden freeway. Then he kicks it down the line to Fraser. And Fraser marks about 30 metres further away from the goal they're defending. Called to play on now. Just 15 metres. Gives it to Riley Sanders. Sanders to Poulter. Marks in front of Closey. Slow, steady build-up. Can't really afford that. 17 minutes gone. They trail by 21 points. Well, it should be 27, shouldn't it? The scoreboard's still saying 13, 14.
Yeah, it's 27 points.
14. So it's
they haven't added the goal.
40, as Bontempelli is helped up by his teammates. It's now up at left half forward, still 80 metres from the Dogs' goal. Need one pretty quickly here. We've got Lobb and Witts in ruck. A long way from the boundary throw, and they've got to make up about 20 metres just to get to the drop zone. Good strong tackling there by Jake Rogers, the sub, who is on for the Gold Coast Sun in place of Nick Holman. Umpire will come up and ball it up.
I still haven't added the 14th goal for the Suns. Maybe Joel Bowden can flick a message. He pretty much runs Darwin from what I'm gathering. He's got a lot of power in the football community here as the Suns go forward from the contest and Long can't take the mark. It's knocked away by Bailey Williams. You can just snap your fingers, Joel, and someone will come running and change the scoreboard and get the goal added.
Just give him a little bit of time. Things can take a little bit longer up here, but that's okay.
You've got premierships up in the Northern Territory coming out of your ears. We'll talk about it after the game, but it's continuing to coach premierships is Joel Bowden up in the top end. Ball spun back in. Both rucks went to ground at the back of the pack. It's the goal kicker, Noble. Kicks it inside the forward 50. Walter can't mark. Clever tap by Long, though, to Miller. His handball to Roses. Oh, he's eyes it up for a moment. Did the team thing. Handball to the captain, and he missed. You should have had a shot, Melly.
Well,
misses to the left.
Miller missed him the first time. Miller had a look at him and didn't give it to him the first give. He would have been running into a scoring opportunity.
14-15-99. The Suns 10-11-71. The Dogs approaching time on in the final term. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
Handball over the top comes to Dale for the Dogs. Up to Norton, who marks in front of Mac Andrew. Norton's kick inboard. Oh, heavy collision by a couple of Bulldogs. One of them still down. I think Caleb Poulter's getting up. The other Bulldog is now slowly getting to his feet as well. McNeil, thank you. Mac Andrew has it for the Suns, though. He pokes a beautiful ball into Roses, who marks it half forward. Dishes off to Anderson. In towards the pocket. Long can go up. Couple of Dogs to beat. Williams was a good contest. Knocked the ball away. And there'll be a ball up as Walter lays the tackle on O'Donnell 30 metres out from the Suns' goal. 19 minutes gone, almost 20 minutes gone in the final quarter. Gold Coast lead by 28 points.
Just watching that replay. That was a strong contest. Ball comes out the back for the Dogs. Nice little bit of footwork by Dale and a good kick in the end to McNeil, who's back to his feet, still a little sore, and he goes to the teammate he crashed into a moment ago, and Poulter, who takes the mark and kicks long inside the forward 50, trying to get it over the back. Davidson needs to be clean. He gathers, he spins, should finish, does finish. They're not done with yet, the Dogs. There's a bit of life left in them just yet. 11-11-77, the Bulldogs. The Suns 14-15-99. Davidson gets his first of the night as the attendance goes up. 9,816 here at Marara in Darwin to see the Dogs and the Suns go at it. Our experts, alongside myself, Mitch Turner and Rob Cross, Chad Wingard and Joel Bowden.
Yeah, and that was just a great kick by Western Bulldogs. They obviously won a contest, and he kicked to space. He just kicked to space, and obviously just allowed Davidson to run on it. He knew he had the pace, so he was just running down the wing, running his natural route of a winger, running up and down the ground, and he just had the pace on him, and then sold Candy, and obviously the Gold Coast player just lost his footing and ended up being an easy goal, but he quite easily could have went down the line, and Gold Coast, that's where they had their numbers, so it was a great choice by just kicking to space over the back. It was a good 55, 60 metre kick, so it took a big effort to get it over the Gold Coast player, but it was a great kick.
2 goals apiece in the final quarter, margin back to the three-quarter time gap of 22 points to the advantage of the Suns. Fiorini just gets the handball away. Uland over to Anderson. He's been terrific all night. Wheels around onto the right boot, looking for Flanders, misses his target. Bailey Dale takes it.
The forwards had to be up there.
It's Liberatore, kicks inside attacking 50. Karmas is there, huge fly from the front. Mac Andrew at ground level. Davidson confronts him, lays a strong tackle. Ball comes loose, play on the call. Here's Riley West on the right, curls the kick around. Fraser, can he redeem himself from a couple of loos this quarter? He fights on, gets it to a teammate, and the quick snap there is through. That McNeil has got it for the Dogs. And the Dogs are not dead yet. They're back within 16 points at the 22-minute mark of the final quarter. 12-11 plays 14-15.
And some of my coaches over the journey, Chad, they used to say fatigue makes cowards of us all. But the forwards just then, Anderson got the ball on the back flank. He shimmies and shakes. He gets around on the ball. He doesn't have an option down the wing because the 4 forwards are still deep inside 50. The turnover happens. They get it down, and a beautiful finish there. That was a lovely snapshot from McNeil, who did get crunched, only a few minutes ago. So the Dogs are back in this, 12 goals, 11 to 14-15. This is a contest with 22 minutes gone. There must be, there's at least 7 or 8 minutes to go.
Yeah, and Noah Anderson, I think, time of the game, probably shouldn't have tried to pull one off. He almost could have just went down the line, down the, I suppose, what they've done all game. I think he just went a little bit away from the game plan there and tried probably maybe seeing Western Bulldogs some of their kicks, but bad turnover and Bulldogs capitalise.
Ball back in the middle. English tap down to Richards, who's wrapped up by Rowell.
And Miller started forward, and he's going in as an extra in at the contest.
Standing at the back of this contest now, but it comes out the way of the Dogs. Richards was strong in the tackle. Handball to Sanders. McNeil was dispossessed by Rioli. Good defensive work by the Suns on Noble's handball. Missed Daniel Rioli. Now West comes through to Bontempelli, to McNeil for 2 in a minute. He can't bend it back on the left. Almost 2 goals in a minute for Lockie McNeil. It's a minor score. 12-12-84. The Dogs, 14-15-99. The Suns.
Well, Noble's going to need to do some handball practice this week because you shouldn't handball the ball straight at someone's foot. It's very hard to pick that one up.
They got away with it, though.
Yuland marks in the right back pocket in front of the Michael Long centre. Bashes it down the wing. King, third up, couldn't mark. Clever by Humphrey, basketball style, slapped it back to himself, but then had the ball dislodged. Good tackling by Harms. Good tackling there on Bailey Dale. Fraser pushes it forward for the Western Bulldogs to Liberatore. Back to Dale. He's confronted by Took Miller. Bailey Williams back to Liberatore. A little bit of space. Harms close to the boundary line. Keeps it in play cleverly. Buku Karmas is in front of Collins. And Big Sam's big left mitt reaches around and spoils it out of bounds. 50 metres away from the Dogs' goal.
He's been big, Collins. I mean, him and McAndrews, they are twin towers that are really hard to take out. They are unbelievable. They work together. They don't get in each other's way. Collins just gets it done every single time. He's so reliable back there, and just watching him live, he just doesn't lose a contest.
The game has gone up a notch here in Darwin. Clearing kick out to the wing. The Suns. Kings come all the way up to the contest. Coughed it up, though. Gallagher, kick inside the forward 50. They need to mark the Bulldogs. Can't find it. Noble, handball out into space of the Suns. Hewlin just shook the tackle of Bontempelli. That was strong for the young man. And then Powell tackled, drops it. Not holding the ball. Saved by the boundary line, maybe. But I'm not sure how he disposed of it. It's game on here.
He didn't dispose of it. He threw it.
It was some sort of free kick. Just got to give one of them.
It's 15 points, the margin. The crowd is starting to get involved. Just shy of 10,000 in the house. Coming over the top from the restart. Kennedy thumped it forward. Oh, McNeil bumped Rioli, knocked him off it, then laid the tackle off the deck. Gallagher soccers it inside the 50. Davidson to Sanders, back to Davidson for another one for the Dogs. They are coming. Wow. The Bulldogs won't be denied. Davidson gets his second goal, his second of the quarter. The Dogs have kicked 3 straight, and the margin is back to 9 points. 13-12-90 the Western Bulldogs, 14-15-99 the Gold Coast Suns. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Mitch Turner alongside Rob Cross, Chad Wingard and Joel Bowden. They're here in the box with us. Just an update, it's a 2-point game heading into the final term in the showdown. The Crows have the lead there. You can listen to that on the ABC Listen app, or you can stick with us here because the Bulldogs are coming.
Who cares about the showdown? This is an unbelievable game. I take back everything I've said. What a finish by Davison. I mean, he had half a step. He got a 1-2 give. And to kick that is unbelievable. We've got a game on our hands, and this centre bounce becomes so important.
And it's won there by English. Suns will get there first, but English followed up beautifully and reached around to the left-handed slap forward. Close, he might have got taken without it. Norton just wants to make some ground. He slaps it forward into the path there of Lobb. Running hard at the footy is Gallagher. He couldn't take it with him. Comes to Graham. Gallagher's about to take him down in a tackle. He got a legal handball away. Bailey Dale comes to Liberatore. Over the top to Richards. Dogs 80 from goal. Left half forward. Kicks in towards the forward pocket. Long to the goal square. Over the back. Off the ground. Brilliant goal. Oh, the Dogs are right back in it. It's a 3-point ball game. They just hustled it and bashed it forward. First it was English who really set that up, got the ruck contest, followed up at ground level, and they just willed their way forward. Finally, Richards banged it to the top of the goal square, and a magnificent goal for the Bulldogs. It's 96-99, 27 and a half gone, final quarter.
Oh, well. Cometh the hour, cometh the man. And Marcus Bontempelli just turns up in the right spot at the right time, but gets his foot to the ball about 2 metres out and gets the Bulldogs right back in this within 3 points. It is on like Donkey Kong, Chad.
This is unbelievable. And Bontempelli, he's finally got one. He's 1 goal 3. He's had some chances. That one the most important. So, again, centre bounces. Meterage is a huge centre bounce here. I mean, like I said, this is game on.
Oh, we have a cracking finish coming up deep into red time here at Marara. The Suns, can they keep their dominance alive? Humphrey stood up in a tackle, got it to Anderson, and the tackle lingered just a moment. He was just held up a little too long by Richards. It's a Suns free kick, or dangerous kick by Humphrey. Graham had to be strong, may have hurt himself in the process. He's holding the arm. Ball's down to Noble. Kick inside the forward 50 off the hands of Long. It spills back to Long in his hometown. He can't get it to come back. He kicks it across the face. It stays in. They'd almost given up on the players in the end. Gallagher lays a strong tackle on Closey and takes him out of bounds. It'll be a boundary throw-in, right forward pocket. The Suns still lead by 3 points. 29 minutes played. Final term. Saturday night footy. ABC Sport. Ball tossed in. Witts to the front. Taps it down. Dale taps it back to English now. Handball somehow gets to Liberatore. Gets it to Richards. The Dogs are away. Kennedy's kick almost chopped off by Andrew. Players fly in on the wing. Norton set upon by a number of Suns, and it's locked in under his feet. It'll be a ball up attacking side of the wing, favouring the Suns end. 29 and a half played. The Suns lead the Dogs by 3 points.
Brilliant finish. Kennedy comes off exhausted. Harms comes on. Never lost to the Gold Coast Suns in 10 attempts for the Dogs and the Demons. Can he keep that run going? Comes to Cleary. Hacks a kick in the direction of Liberatore. Was he taken high? Sanders push from behind. Play on. Taken by Harms. Back to Gallagher. Some important touches, the sub. Barrels the ball out of bounds on the full. At left half forward for the Dogs.
He hit it too well. He hit a perfect torpedo out of a pack, and it bloody went out of bounds on the full.
Lobb was in the vicinity, so was Collins. Can't be long remaining. 3 points the lead, 99-96. The Suns with Collins to just drive it long down the line. There's a big Bulldog contingent in the crowd tonight. Up goes Witts. The spoil over the top is out of bounds. As Closey gets in and lifts his big ruckman up off the ground to go and have another contest with English.
Chad almost thought he was on for a possession there. It was a big fist over the boundary.
Thought I was a sniff.
Fans on their feet in front of this contest. AFL action in the Northern Territory for ABC Sport. The Suns by 3 points. Out the back of the pack. Flanders kicks it inside the forward 50. O'Donnell has a paddock all to himself. King's starting to close him down. He gathers on the last line of defence. They've got to go end to end, the Dogs. They trail by 3. Kick goes out to right half back. Johannesson kicks up the wing. Big fist came from Powell at the back. Collins gathers to Fiorini. The Suns win possession. They kick up the wing. Got to be brave. Going back with the fly was Bontempelli. It falls to Rao. They're out. Long is all on his own. He drops the mark. Now he's closed down by the Dogs. Little don't argue. Taps the ball on the ground.
Handballs to Miller, just beyond left half forward. He's tackled, taken to ground, and he is saved by the boundary line. There's only about a minute left, surely. Can the Dogs do it? They've got to be perfect in the slippery conditions under the bright lights in Darwin. Ball tossed in. English taps it down. Rowell off the deck. It comes out the back. Graham runs on goal. Can he seal it for the Suns? He can't. It's a minor score. 14-16, 100. Gold Coast Suns, the Dogs 14-12, 96. Final run of the game for the Dogs.
O'Donnell's long kick to the wing. Bailey Dale tried to tap it on. He's been able to. Just a hand on his jumper from Hewlin was good enough, and he went back and had a second go. Stalls them at half on the wing. In comes Gallagher. In goes McLean. Back to Gallagher. He tries to slap it forward. He's been hurt. Turned over. Suns away. The moment's gone for the Dogs. They had half a chance. Instead it goes inside 50. Big mark to King. This will be it. King slides in and takes the mark as Harvey Gallagher limps off. But King from 30 metres out, slight angle. And that was a really tough exchange right in front of us, in front of the grandstand. The Dogs had half a chance to carry it the length of the field, but there's the siren. Fitting that the competition's leading goal scorer. They've continued their amazing run. 7th win in a row. They're home away from home. Ben King lines up for his 3rd goal of the night. 1 in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd, and not 1 in the 4th. Yes, he squeezed it home. Just to the right-hand side, the goal umpire move, but it is a goal, and the Suns finish off what was a thrilling match and win it by 10 points. 15-16, 106 to the Dogs, 14-12, 96.
Whether it's Carrara or Marara, the Suns continue to stamp their finals credentials. 7 straight in Darwin for them now. And they hold off the fast-finishing Western Bulldogs in what turned out to be a cracker and a thriller in the top end. 15-16, 106 the Gold Coast Suns. 14-12, 96 the Western Bulldogs. Terrific win by the Suns in front of just shy of 10,000 fans. A cracking contest. We'll get some reaction downstairs in just a moment from the Suns camp in what is a big win for them. I'll go through the goal kickers as well. For the Suns, 2 goals to Graham, Holman, Flanders, King, singles to Closey, Long, Rowell, Rioli, Ainsworth and Noble. For the Dogs, 3 to Kennedy, 2 to Davidson, 2 to Vandermeer, 2 to West, singles to Bontempelli, Sanders, Richards, Karmas, McNeil. I think I might have stolen one from King as well. King had 3 in the end because he kicked one on the siren. Yep. So they are the goal kickers. We see the 2 teams out on the oval, both wearing their First Nations Guernseys. A lot of fans hugging along the player races who want to get a very close look at some of their favourite AFL players. We might take you shortly to the Adelaide Oval, and we'll come back and get some reaction from downstairs a bit after that, because it is a close one at the showdown. 11-9-75 the Adelaide Crows. Port Adelaide, they are 10-6-66. We'll take you there very shortly. Just some quick reactions the next minute or so from yourself, Chad Wingard and Joel Bowden.
It was just an unbelievable finish. I thought Western Bulldogs had it. I thought they had all the momentum. But again, we think about Gold Coast. I want to see their maturity, because we want to make sure everyone wants to see them in finals, have their finals berth. But they showed maturity in elements of that game. I thought they closed it down when they needed to. There was a few stoppages, and a contest out here was unbelievable. So I think it was a massive win for Gold Coast. But Bulldogs came up with a great fight. It's hard to win up here. Obviously, they've won 7 in a row now, Gold Coast. But for me, it was just an exciting, unbelievable, skillful, played their brand of footy, both teams type of game.
And it went in its ebbs and its flows. You know, you thought that the Gold Coast got out to 3 goals early. They might be able to push on for it. The Dogs came back in the last quarter. We thought, it was about 21 points up. The Gold Coast were going to probably just ease their way home. Well, not to be. The Bulldogs put on a spurt, 3 goals in a row. It was tight and tough. I just think in the last minute, there was a point kicked. That was when they had a chance to reset. But instead, I don't know who brought the ball back in. It might have been O'Donnell. Brought it back in straight away and went really, really quick. They might have actually had a set play to try and go coast to coast, which I'm sure clubs are training nowadays. But instead of going slow, taking the time, because the clock has stopped, he came in quickly. He played on
2-on-1 against.
And a 2-on-1 against. And it's those moments in games. It's ended up being a 10-point game, but up until the last kick, there was only 1 kick in it. Maybe, just maybe, the President minds to slow down, take 20 seconds, even if the umpire calls you to play on, then you go. And they used their feet well all night. There was nothing to say that they couldn't do it again, 4 or 5 kicks, and take on the Gold Coast Suns, who were effectively as fatigued, if not more fatigued, than the Bulldogs. But not to be, and the Suns have made this their fortress. They are undefeated now in 7 games.
So at quarter time, the Suns led by 8 points. At half time, they led by 7 points. It was 22 points at the start of the 4th quarter. They got out to a 27-point lead at the 16-minute mark of the final term. And then almost the final 4 goals. 4 goals straight to the Bulldogs, pulled it back within 3 points. Ben King with one on the siren for his 3rd to just round out the win for the Gold Coast Suns. But what a terrific game it turned out to be. As I said, we will have a chat to one of the Suns in just a moment, and we'll hopefully take you to the showdown to get the final 10 minutes of that clash, because there's only a kick in it at the Adelaide Oval, and we'd love to bring you the finish. And Chad Wingard is standing here very nervously wanting us to take it as well. But we'll make sure we get someone from the Gold Coast Suns camp to relive what was a terrific victory in the end. Charlie King will be downstairs and he'll be ready to go once we get one of those Suns players. But for the time being, let's take you to the Adelaide Oval. Showdown 57, Aaron Bryans, Tom Wilson, Rod Jamieson, Josh Franco and Josh Money. They are our call team. The Crows are up by 15 points.
You can keep him down. You can nullify his influence for 3 quarters. But as I said, in the space of 2 or 3 minutes, he's had 3 touches, resulted in 3 goals and has blown this game open.
He just so mercurial, Isaac Rankin. His 2nd goal in this last quarter.
Welcome to listeners who've joined us from Darwin. Adelaide up by 21 points. It's been an enthralling showdown. Back and forth with 9 lead changes, but the Crows have had the hot start in the final term. Port send it inside 50 through Ollie Wines. Off hands, Wayne Miller is at the back. Gives it off to Keane. They're under pressure. Tries to switch to defensive 50 and hits Isaac Cumming. Aaron Bryans, Tom Wilson, Rod Jamieson, Josh Franco with you for the call. Adelaide were up by 3 at quarter time, 5 at the half, just 2 at 3-quarter time, but have kicked the first 3 goals of the final term.
Adelaide out of the blocks in the first, and Port Adelaide came back in the second, and then we're all over Adelaide in the third. But Adelaide have maintained and kicked ahead in this last quarter.
Oh, Finlayson. That's the fair call. He did nothing to disguise. He wanted to take the ball over the boundary line. That's dumb. Finlayson.
So Finlayson gathered. He was probably a couple of metres away from the boundary line. He had the momentum, but really could have run along like a tightrope, but just went straight out. So the free kick went to Rankin. He went back to Worrell. He's got it back again, does Rankin. His kick inside the forward 50. Well, it gets through Jones. Clean bowls him. Handball goes back to Keys on his right foot. Kicks to the goal square. Couldn't quite take the mark. That would have hurt. That was Saligo, and it bounces through for a minus score. Crows right on top here, and Rankin, after a quiet first 3 quarters, has kicked the last 2 goals at the last inside 50. So Crows 13-10, 88, Port 10-6, 66.
I reckon Port Adelaide at the moment need a circuit breaker to somehow change momentum. The bloke with the ball in his hand at the moment, Rosie, I'd almost be considering injecting him into the midfield.
Drives it to the eastern wing off the kick out. Lord was front position. Fist came in. Shoots to Miller, who gives it to Dawson. Adelaide back inside 50. High kick. Thilthorpe edged underneath it. Picked up at the back. Saligo lost his footing. Lockie Jones for the power. Barrels through and hands it to Wines. Back to Singh. Jams it out a defensive 50. Drew put it down. Moraes gathers. Got it to Richards. Spins out of trouble. Kick a hit and hope. Up towards territory on the eastern side, and Keane is backtracking for the Crows. Gives it off to Laird. Their all-time possession winner. Up to half forward. Rosie presents in front of Taylor and knocks it over the boundary line with the fist. No injuries so far in this contest either, but both subs have been activated. McEntee off with Moraes in. Curtin off as well. Berry in. And 53,117 in attendance tonight. Port home game, so they're very nervous right now, down 22.
Can hear every one of them all night. It's been a great contest. The handball back towards Butters made him work for it, but he gathers it right half back, takes a bounce in front of Peatling. Handballs to Wines, who is clean to Rosie. Love to watch the power run. Sweeping handball to Burgoyne. He takes a bounce. Goes long inside the forward 50. They need a mark. Georgiades brings it to ground. Moraes handballs over the top towards Richards. Handballs back to Georgiades. Short pass the Lord. How far was that enough? He marks 40 metres out and a slight angle away to the right.
The theatre, hey? Was lucky to go 3 metres.
Well, it was all set up from the ability of Zach Butters just to drive his legs and create that overlap run. And I think they got lucky there, Port Adelaide. The way they've been umpiring that short kick throughout the course of the first 9 rounds, the eight rounds, a bit lucky on that occasion.
Ollie Lord, we know he's been big in finals. This is a big moment in his young career, and he's pulled it away to the left. He hasn't even made the distance. And there were 2 Crows there against Georgiades. Mark Keane marked right in front of the left behind post.
The man from County Cork looks for an exit. Up to the defensive edge of the square. Vicentini knocks it away from O'Brien. Picked up by Rankin, quickly tackled by Rosie.
And Aaron, I can't help but think, if you're Geelong now, you're injecting Patrick Dangerfield into the midfield. I'd almost be tempted to drop the tag on Dawson, who's been Bergman, and, as I said, get Connor Rosie around the footy.
O'Brien down to Nankervis, then Peatling flirts with the boundary line, bounces right on the paint, and over, and it'll be a boundary throw in true centre wing on the broadcast side.
And I know Rosie's been outstanding at half-back, but at the moment I think you've got to get your A-graders in there because you've got to win the game. You're not saving it.
Third biggest crowd in showdown history as well.
Sorry, Aaron. Peatling's been good tonight too. 23 disposals in his first showdown.
Tossed in. O'Brien down. It's bouncing in the path of Horne-Francis. Awkward very late as it caught a bit of leg spin away from him. Berry picks it up. Caught. Bergman got him holding the ball. Free kick, Port Adelaide, true centre wing.
Stiff, really, wasn't he, too? He managed to keep it in and take the game on, but then penalised.
Bergman kicks in towards the forward line. Left half forward for Port Adelaide. A big pack of players. There's a couple that are hurt in that contest. In the meantime, the ball's in dispute. Burgoyne wraps up a tackle there on Cumming. And we'll have a throw up, or a ball up, I should say.
Max Michaelani, slow to get up. Get back into it.
Tough as they come. Left half forward for Port Adelaide. Vicentini almost got that straight down to Butters. Horne-Francis managed the smother. Gets tackled by Miller up. Didn't duck into the tackle, but he was leaning forward into the tackle. And we'll have another ball up right on the paint of the 50, where the old 50s used to be marked.
Vicentini down, looking for his Brownlow medal winning teammate. Wines extracts it, gets it to Richards. Around the body off a step, hit towards the top of the goal square. Fist came in from Keane. Free kick anyway, going the way of Jordan Butts.
Done a reasonable job tonight too. He's normally, sometimes he sits under the footy and you go, oh. However, he has played a serviceable game.
Nick Murray's still out for another month, so he'll have to settle in. Jordan Butts heaves it out of there. Back to the broadcast wing. Vicentini front position with the fist. Knocks it towards the boundary line. Burgoyne was there and is happy to escort it over. Adelaide by 22 points. It was an instant classic up to three-quarter time, but the Crows have surged away here. Port Adelaide are desperate for a response with 10 to go.
Still no goals in this quarter for the Power, but both teams have had 7 inside 50s apiece.
Look dangerous, haven't they? 3-2 to Adelaide.
Boundary throw-in, went out over the back. Rochelle gathered. He ran through 4 Power players. Eventually got a handball it out, but it went straight to Horne-Francis. His kick inside the forward 50 was knocked away. Bergman tries to ride the tackle, and he gave a bullet handball to Butters. almost went straight through him. He handballed it that hard. Goes out over the boundary. We'll have a throw in. Left half forward for the Power.
Well, outside the first quarter, Port Adelaide have done well in the contested, uncontested. Adelaide on top in both of those areas at the moment and tackling 10 apiece in this last quarter.
Tossed in left half forward for the Power. Beat both rucks on the bounce. Bergman gathers. It's a Bergman bomb from 55. Through for a minor score on the left-hand side. Gee, that carried towards the hill. Speaking of which, I've heard from numerous sources that you cannot move up there. Shoulder to shoulder. 53,117 in attendance. Crows lead down to 21.
Worrell brings it in and he's got too much on that. Ill-directed.
Yeah.
Would have been marked by Burgoyne anyway.
A bit sloppy, wasn't it?
So he marked it, or it was out of bounds on the full and goes short to Moraes, the sub.
He's sneaking around.
He's going to set sail. No, he's going to kick to the top of the goal square. Flying at that one was Lord. Brings it to the front of the contest. Rove by Drew. Just had too much on that left foot snap. And I think it's hit the right behind post. It has. Out of bounds on the full. And the Crows through Keys will bring it back. They lead by 21 points thanks to 3 goals to start this last quarter.
9.5 minutes remaining.
Off the free kick, Ben Keys spots Fogarty, nearly took it against Radaglia. Front and square was Peatling coming back for a hold. Free kick to Adelaide and Darcy Fogarty.
Well, I know a lot of sides practice game state stuff. So when they need to score and they need to save the game, it's almost at the point for Port Adelaide. They've just got to start rolling the dice, albeit there is 9 minutes left, but they've got to start taking some risks and accessing the corridor to try to generate some scores.
Showdown ledger at 28 apiece. Winner tonight takes the chocolates. Fogarty plays on, sidesteps Radaglia, kicks a long bomb straight to Port Adelaide's defence. Bergman alongside 2 as they were queuing up.
Will he take the middle on?
Thought about it and then sends it back where it came from. Up to right half forward, Georgiades on the march. Takes it out in front. Too far out to score, so he lowers the eyes and drills it to Horn Francis. Takes it on the chest, 45 out. Slight angle to the right.
Even he's got the distance in him. He has, hasn't he? As you said, he's probably going to kick from about 52, 53 metres. The flags on top of the scoreboard are absolutely limp. There's no breeze to think of. You'd imagine he's got the distance. Just the accuracy is the only question mark over this kick.
Tries to sometimes over-kick it.
It's a big moment for a big player. Jason Horne-Francis gives it everything from 55 all the way through for a minor score on the right-hand side. Just flirted with that goalpost. Adelaide's lead down to 20. Port with consecutive misses and the Crows hanging on.
Yeah, they'll be ruining the miss of Lord, and again on that occasion, Horne-Francis, Port Adelaide need to close this margin to give themselves a chance.
Just need a spark, don't they,
yeah,
Josh?
They do. Yeah.
Even Bergman's shot was so close from 55. So wrapping it around the body. Quick kick there from Hinge, and coming across the front of the pack was Burgoyne. His fist gets it out over the boundary line.
And Port Adelaide still have clearance dominance, Jamo. It's 11-5 this quarter, so they are dominating field position. They're +4 inside 50s. They've just got to capitalise on those opportunities when they get them, Port Adelaide.
Boundary throwing. O'Brien knocks it down. The Brownlow medalist in Wines. He gets the clearance going long towards Georgiades. Worrell gets the hands there. Richards sharks it. Handballs towards Mead, but he's met with a tackle. Gets the handball back to Richards. Quick kick on his left. I'm not sure that was touched. Worrell, he went to claim it to the umpire, but then he backed away. This quick kick on the left from Richards has gone through. The soft call is touched, but I don't reckon Worrell was confident at all.
It's a good call, Tom, too, wasn't it, as well? Wayne Miller is in the square with him. It's hard to see. Surprise, surprise on the monitor.
Hands of the Adelaide defender. Decision on the scoreboard.
I don't think that's very clear at all. And I know I called it like he wasn't that confident, but that was one angle.
They may have a different one upstairs. Who knows?
They'd have to. They'd have to.
They were pretty quick, weren't they?
They were. Minor score. 10-9-69, the Power. Adelaide 13-10-88. 21.5 minutes gone final term.
Miller plays on from the defensive goal square, seeks the broadcast wing. O'Brien's his target. Vicentini went too early. O'Brien juggles, can't claim it. Neil Bullen tumbles one through to Taylor, goes for a run to the middle, then swings back to the broadcast wing. Spots Pete Ling alone in front of the benches. Tried to chip it over the top, only found the hands of Burton. Good smother on the mark. Ricochets to Wines, spun a full 720 and caught holding the ball.
A great tackle, wasn't it too? He's such a bull, Ollie Wines. He's had a serviceable night as well.
Isaac Cumming with a giant tackle. He has a true centre wing. Adelaide by 19. Coming up to right half forward. Fogarty's in the hole. Backtracking Burton. Coming late. A big launch from Ratugolea to get a fist in. Rolls it over the boundary line.
Just looking at one of the Adelaide officials holding up a sign. It's got a T and a bicep on it. I'm not sure what that means. Flexing, yeah. Maybe that's... Obviously, we're talking game state. It's getting to that point in the game where they've got to start thinking about slowing things down and...
Maybe?
Yeah, possibly.
Tough it out.
So from the boundary throw in, Keys gets a clearance up towards Walker, who almost ruck-tapped it down to his teammates. Working hard there was Taylor. Head over the footy, tackled by Drew and Wines. We'll get a ball up right half forward for Adelaide.
The Margaret River Ultramarathon. Harley Thomas has completed it, 77.8 kilometres.
It is a remarkable effort.
That is huge. Well done.
Taylor Walker tried to take it out of the ruck. Fell to ground. And at the bottom of the pack is Ollie Wines again. He's had 10 touches this quarter. 3 inside 50s. Workman-like effort. Vicentini knocks it down to Drew. Gets the kick out of defence, but waiting there for the Crows is Miller up.
They'll set up really well behind the ball there, Adelaide.
So the switch is... Oh, no, that's a shocker. He's kicked it straight to Moraes. There's no one there. It's going to be a foot race. Worrell is quick. He handballs to Georgiades, who steps inside. That was clever. Unloads from 50, but misses. Away to the right-hand side. They've had their opportunities, Port Adelaide. They just haven't grasped one of them in this final quarter. 10-10-70, Adelaide 13-10-88. 24 minutes gone, final term.
Wayne Miller up. Over 100 games of experience too. Late in the game, you want to ice it or maintain possession. He just turned it over in the middle of the ground.
Keane down the line.
That'll be deliberate too.
Fitz came in against Barry. Quick kick from Adelaide and deemed deliberate towards the broadcast wing.
And Aaron, you talk about missed opportunities. Was it Lord, Horne-Francis, Georgiades, Bergman? All kickable. You've got to take those opportunities when they arise, particularly in a showdown when it's tight.
Aaliyah puts up a prayer towards the 50. Rising Georgiades. Fist came in. Trickles towards the paint of 50. Wide of Neil Bullen. Sin puts his head over it. Crunching in Taylor. Diving over the top is Richards. He pulled the footy in. Wrapped up in the tackle. Ball up to come. Port's 50 down 18. 5 and a bit to go. 3-goal game. Showdown 57 on ABC Sport. Vicentini down to Butters. Sin around the body. 30 out from goal. Intercept marked by Taylor. First showdown, 14th game. Zach Taylor stands up in a big moment.
And I reckon also too, Adelaide have to be careful not to go too much into saving the game mode, because there's still plenty of time on the clock. Oh, sorry.
There certainly is. There's always time on the clock, Josh.
And the clock is at 5 minutes.
Man.
Counting down.
Sorry, boys and listeners.
What for? Didn't hear you.
Time ticks on. Someone does need to stand up, though, Josh.
Yep.
And Bergman kicks long inside the forward 50. O'Brien was fisted away in the contest by a teammate.
Oh.
That was a throw, a backhand throw. It was right in front of the umpire. That was Laird, I think it was against. It was either Laird or Hinge. Laird. And if you can see on the replay, he just flicks this up right in front of the umpire. Yep. And it was towards Rosie, but Darcy Byrne-Jones has got the footy.
And I know it's an understatement, but absolute critical that he actually nails this goal.
So 45 metres out, 45-degree angle. Darcy Byrne-Jones, that is on target. Darcy's got 2. The first of the last for the Power. It's taken them 26 minutes, but they're still in this contest. They trail by 12, 11-10, 76. Adelaide 13-10, 88. 26 minutes gone, final term.
And Jamo, even just looking at the numbers, and we've talked about it at length throughout the course of the call, the clearance dominance for Port Adelaide is coming through again. It's 14-6, which is translating into inside 50 dominance and field position dominance, 17-8. Port Adelaide have had their opportunity. Terrific finish there from Darcy Byrne-Jones. There's still 4 minutes on the clock. The margin's only 2 goals, so it's still game on. And as I said, Adelaide have to be really careful they don't go into too much of a game-saving mode. Otherwise, that could come back to bite them.
I think Adelaide have made the game harder for themselves, haven't they, too? They've actually given up the clearance work and the contest where they have been good, and they haven't been able to get on top or change it throughout the last 2.5, 3 quarters.
Adelaide by 12 in Showdown 57 on ABC Sport. Clean bounce in the middle, neither ruck get a tap. Towing it out of there is Saligo. Ricocheted off Berry out wide to Cumming. It shoots back to the broadcast wing. Burgoyne loses his footing. Almost slide tackled Neil Bullen. He's wrapped him up. And Jace Burgoyne forces a ball up. 53,000 in attendance. Adelaide 5-3. Port 4-4. It's a big game for both clubs season. Tied at 28 apiece in showdowns. Vicentini down to Wines. Butters brushes off 2. Hands it to Bergman. Spears his way through the corridor. Up to the goal square. Finlayson couldn't reel it in. And no pressure on Mitch Hinge, who walks it over the boundary line. The whistle stays away. And Adelaide want to go quickly, bringing it back into play. Kick to a 2-on-2 at right half back. Out the back door is Saligo. He rolls it to centre wing. Fogarty knocked out without the ball. Radagalier sliding in with the pressure and walks it over. My goodness, there's a lot happening. Adelaide's up by 11.
Just have a look here and see how Adelaide's set up. It just seems that Port Adelaide, Ollie Wines here on his own. He's working his way around to Saligo.
Boundary throw in. O'Brien knocks it towards Horne-Francis. It's Worrell who comes through. Met with the tackle from Wines. Jones just cleans up Saligo. Huge bump. Burgoyne wins the clearance. Kicks long towards Rosie, who flew. Didn't quite take the mark. He was unlucky he didn't get a hand on that. He went skyboard.
He actually sat up there for quite some time, didn't he? The ball had gone past and he then hit the ground.
So he flew over Butts, who gave him the ultimate stepladder. And I think as he sat up there for so long, the umpire realised he didn't touch the ball and he gives away the free kick at right half back.
The Crows back up the broadcast wing. Fogarty tried to sit of his own and his teammate didn't get it. Port Adelaide take the footy up to half forward. Rosie front position, beaten by Taylor, but it did touch the power skipper's hands first. Ball up. The Port fans are angry because they thought Fogarty had an unrealistic attempt, but he did it on his own teammate.
Big clearance, this one.
Crows by 11. O'Brien down, picked off by Horne-Francis. They don't argue on Neil Bullen, but Berry gets him. No whistle. Shoots out to Bergman. A 60-metre bomb all the way to the goal line. It curls wide left late and bounces over the line. That was a heave of a kick. Adelaide by 11. Port's inside 50.
And probably the best result for Port Adelaide, wasn't it? They get the chance to reset at a stoppage. They've been terrific around the contest all night, but a big boundary throw in here inside their forward 50.
Ball comes in, roved by Rosie. Rosie just missed. He roved that like the superstar he is. Snapped from 20 out, running on his preferred side, and he missed. Minus score, Port 11-12, 78. Adelaide 13-10, 88, 30 minutes gone, final turn.
You could have another 15 shots at that and he'd kick them every time.
The Power have had the last 7 scoring shots for 1 goal, 6.
Missed opportunities.
They have thrown this away. Adelaide exit to the broadcast wing. Fist from Vicentini back to the 50. Richards hands it off to Wines. Burgoyne left half forward. Screws it central. Little bit too hot for Moraes. Horne-Francis throws his body in. Picked up by Finlayson. Quick kick towards goal. Finlayson's got 3. We're going to the wire and showdown 57. An unbelievable contest on your Saturday night on ABC Sport. This is glorious football. Josh Franco, Rod Jamison, your experts.
Well, I'll tell you what, eventually the dam wall breaks, Jamo. 18-7 clearances, so plus 11 to Port Adelaide, which then flows into a plus 12 inside 50 count. They've had 2 goals, 6, so 8 scoring opportunities. They've dominated clearances all night. You talk about, in the context of the game, how important this centre clearance is. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't put my money on Adelaide winning it.
20-8 inside 50s is an incredible differential.
Yep.
The pressure. It's almost got to Adelaide, hasn't it, too, in this last 4 or 5 minutes.
Absolutely.
He's had a game, Finlayson, was the sub last week, and he's kicked 3 tonight, and a goal that gets the Power back within a goal, back in the middle of the ground, 2 minutes to go, and showdown 57. Horn Francis grabs the ball, he runs away from Peatling, takes a bounce in the middle of the ground, kicks long inside the forward 50. Finlayson, but Keane!
What a mark.
That was class and bravery. The Irishman takes the intercept mark. I hate these games.
Well, what he's going to do now, he's going to kick down the line to get a boundary throw in, but I don't reckon they want that.
Adelaide by 4. Keane's kick was a little more central up the wing, nowhere near the boundary line. Hits the deck and they pile on top. Ball up in front of the Odie stand.
Just looking at the numbers, Adelaide don't want stoppages.
No, 1 minute remaining. 1 minute, 9 seconds.
The Crows by 4. O'Brien down, searching for the boundary line. Butters tracking it, keeps it in, handed it in the direction of Bergman. Berry escorts it over. Butters was taken high. Free kick just behind right half forward. Butters lowers the eyes. The composure from the superstar. Shares it to Burton. Still too far out to score. Adelaide by 4. Burton inside 50. Dying moments. O'Brien, the whipping boy of the Crows, stands up when they need him the most.
Oh, he's got a kick.
Oh, no,
He'll give it off. Worrell bangs it out of there.
Well, that's a high ball. Thilthorpe flies. Aliir knocks it back inside the forward 50. Gathered by Neil Bullen. He kicks it straight to the boundary line. That's going to be insufficient intent. If it goes out, it doesn't. And it forced Lockie Jones to punch it towards the boundary line to cause a stoppage. The bounce of the ball favoured Adelaide in a big way.
18 seconds remaining. I thought it was actually in the go to Isaac Rankin.
So Jones almost in the end knocked it out deliberately in front of Rankin.
Last roll of the dice for Port.
Tossed in. Adelaide by 4. O'Brien down. On Francis collected. Picked up by Berry. Tucks it under one arm. Adelaide's going to win. Couple of bounces. Marches to 45. Open goal square. Berry misses. It won't matter. The Crows win a classic to claim the South Australian crown. Adelaide leads the showdown ledger. They win by 4 points in a thriller at the Adelaide Oval. We're courageous, stronger, faster, and respected by our foes. Admiration of the nation, now determination shows. We're the pride of South Australia, we're the mighty Adelaide Crows.
So there it is, the end of the showdown at Adelaide Oval. The Crows hold on in an absolute thriller. Meanwhile, back here at Marara in Darwin, it was the Suns that held on to a fast-finishing Western Bulldogs side in the end. The final margin, they got over the line right at the death. The Gold Coast Suns holding on to win by 10 points. Before we get the votes from Chad Wingard and Joel Bowden, Charlie King is downstairs and has one of the Gold Coast Suns with him. Charlie?
So we're joined by John Noble. John, talk us through what happened there in that last quarter. That was an incredible game of football.
Yeah, it was. It was a bit of an arm wrestle, wasn't it? We put ourselves in a really strong position heading into the last quarter, and to Bulldogs' credit, they came, and we knew they were going to come. They've got really good ball movement from the back half, so they worried us a little bit, but it was awesome. I'm really proud of our boys for standing up and getting the win.
We've had some incredible wins this year. Where do you place this one alongside those other games?
Yeah, it's right up there, to be honest. You know, it's really special that we can come up here and connect with the community up in Darwin. We've got a lot of boys up this way, so to connect with their families and have them watch us put a performance like that together is really pleasing. It's awesome to have our fans up here a part of that, and like I said, it's right up there for this year.
And the way you move the ball is just quite fantastic. You look to be quick by leg speed, quick by use of the ball with handballs and whatever, and you went long when you had to go long. Not too long, but just long.
Yeah, it's one of those things that we're really lucky. We've got a lot of versatile players in our team, and we really pride ourselves with our speed and our fitness, and riggers and the sporting staff have done an amazing job for us this year, and it allows us to come out and play. You know, we've got a lot of weapons in our team, and to see them, even like Sauce today, Dan Rioli, show his strengths is it's awesome to see.
And what is it about coming to Darwin to play that makes you play such good footy?
Oh, I think the heat definitely plays a part. We live there and we do our pre-seasons in the heat and we're exposed to it constantly. So for us, it's no different. It's certainly a little bit hotter and a little bit muggier up here, but we love these conditions. It challenges us, and we know when we're struggling as a team, we think the oppo is struggling twice as hard. So, we love playing footy up here. We've got a strong record, and it's glad to see that we're continuing that.
Have you had a word from your coach at all?
No, not yet. I think he's. We'll have a meeting in a minute, but to see a smile on his face after that's really special.
And looking forward to the game against Hawthorn coming up next Thursday. Tell us about your preparation. Are you heading home or not?
No, we're staying up here. 5-day break. We'll go to work with some of the learnings that we took out of this game, but 5-day turnaround is short. We'll get some recovery in, spend some time with each other. It's an awesome time to get away and build those relationships as well. So it's another challenge for us as a club. But one game at a time.
Just to finally give us your word on your performance tonight. What do you think of it?
Just happy, mate. I'm really enjoying my footy at the moment. I love this team so much, and they've done so much for me and welcomed me in such a short period of time. So I'm just loving it and enjoying every bit of it.
Well, you performed in front of 10,000 delirious fans. You made them all happy.
Yeah, thank you, mate. No, it's good to get a win.
Thanks for your time.
No worries.
Was a good contributor tonight was John Noble. 23 disposals, a goal as well, an important goal that came in the final term. It was at the 16-minute mark, because from that point on, the Suns, they didn't kick a goal for another 16 minutes until Ben King kicked one after the siren when the result was already in the books. It was a solid win by the Suns in the end. They were challenged, they were tested, and they got the 10-point win. 15-16, 106 to the Bulldogs, 14-12, 96. They led by 8 points at the first break, 7 points at the main change. 22 points up, the Suns going into the final quarter. It got back to within 3 at the 28-minute mark of the final term. But they hold on 7 straight here in Darwin. Mitch Turner alongside Rob Cross, alongside us, both dual All-Australians. We have a showdown medalist who just heard the back end of the showdown, didn't go his former club's way, but that's okay. In Chad Wingard, Jack Dyer medalist. You win 1 or 2? Just 2. Oh, that was a very casual 2, Joel Bowden. The votes from the 2 of you as well we need to get. Have you come up with some votes?
Yeah, we've come up with votes. I think we've gone with 1 vote, Tuke Miller. He had 25 disposals. He had 5 clearances, 6 tackles, and was just a really tough nut in there. He was pretty consistent throughout the night. I think some players came in and went throughout the game, but he was one of the consistent performers for Gold Coast. And 2 votes, we're going to go to Noah Anderson. I thought he wasn't as efficient as his normal self. I mean, he didn't kick that goal, but he went at 68 disposal efficiency. But just his metre gained and just his, I suppose, he led the team with 7 clearances. So he really did all the trench work and really fought hard in there. But believe it or not, the 3 votes went to a Bulldogs player, and Tom Liberatore. He had 35 disposals. He had 14 ground ball gets, 10 clearances and 10 tackles. Like, he was just a workhorse again. This game and this ground and these conditions definitely suit his type of player, who's a hard nose, get in and under tackles and just get up and go again. And he lifted for him. And like in that last quarter, like I said, it could have went their way, could have went anyone's way, but Gold Coast held on, and a tremendous win for them, because it's a game that they definitely couldn't afford to drop with their, you look at their fixture, this is one that you'd pencil in, especially being up here.
So that locks in the 4 for the Gold Coast Suns for this round 9 of the AFL. Just repeating those votes in the ABC Footballer of the Year. 1 to Tuke Miller, 2 to Noah Anderson, and 3 to Tom Liberatore, who was from the losing side tonight, but it was by essentially a kick, because the margin was 4 points when it was when the goal was decided and kicked after the siren. So the losing side gets the 3 votes. The reason I say that is because I've been reliably informed that the showdown medalist from the game we just came from went to Connor Rosie, who was also in the losing side. Now, we're not there. We can't picture that, Chad, but as someone who has played in showdowns and won a showdown medal, how would that be received by the Adelaide fans in the crowd, seeing the Port Adelaide skipper win the showdown medal? Well, I'm just looking at his stats now. Yeah, like, he's obviously 32 and a goal, and a lot of
both stats were won by Port Adelaide, but that wouldn't go down, and it wouldn't actually feel that great either. I mean, winning a medal in a losing team, I mean, you can't really thank the fans, you can't really thank your teammates because you end up on the losing end. But yeah, I mean, obviously, it's a nod to him on his performance, but he'd be pretty disappointed to come away with a loss because it's going to be a while until they play each other again. And as you know, now Crows have one on the ledger. They're one in front of the showdown tally complete total, and they will hold that ledger until they come up against each other again. Their best rivalry in the game.
Next one will be big. It is the best rivalry in football, no doubt about that. Joel Bowden, the Gold Coast Suns, we've got about 2 minutes left here. They've got to play again on Thursday. And I know they've done this before, and they've done it for a number of years. They do the backup here in Darwin in what is tough conditions, and it wasn't the most gruelling conditions you get in Darwin tonight, but it's still tougher than the average night of football. And it was a brutal contest at the end. They would have loved to cruise to a 6-7 goal win and just put the cue in the rack, but they got pushed right to the end. How tough is it going to be to back up against Hawthorn, who they're flying in on Monday? We'll spend most of the week here before the Thursday game, but they didn't play in those conditions. They played in Melbourne today.
Yeah, I suggest they'll be okay because of the amount of support that the players get about recovery, etc. We did notice Gold Coast went into the air-conditioned room at quarter time and three-quarter time. They've also got the facilities of the Michael Long Centre, which is here at TIO Stadium. And interestingly, they get those facilities every year. So the ice baths, the pool, the much better facility. In fact, I can see over there, you can see in the window over there, the players are walking around just behind the goals there. That's the pool area. They'll be doing their full recovery. Conversely, the Dogs in the dungeon, the concrete dungeon underneath us here that was built in 1991, so they don't have the same facilities. Notwithstanding that, I'm sure they're doing a recovery as well. But they probably won't train much this week up here. They'll do a few other community engagement activities and embed themselves here as the Northern Suns, but they'll come out on Thursday. Admittedly, Hawthorn have to travel. So they're travelling and they'll be here and they'll have to acclimatise as quickly as they can. The Gold Coast is warmer than it is in Melbourne, and this is the Gold Coast fortress, which they have now dominated for the last 7 games.
7 straight for the Gold Coast Suns in Darwin. We're about to leave you here. We'll be back on Thursday ourselves here to call the Gold Coast Suns v the Hawks from Marara. Tomorrow, though, from 12 o'clock Eastern, AFL Sunday with Matt Clinch and Cameron Ling. Then from 1 o'clock in the East, 11 in the West, Richmond v West Coast at the MCG. And then the Sunday Footy Forum as well from 1 p.m. Eastern with Clint Wheeldon, Glenn Quartermain and Jake Nile. The Cats and the Giants after that at Kardinia Park. But for now, it's the Suns winners in Darwin.
Grab a copy of ABC Organic Gardener magazine for expert growing tips. Find ideas to fill your garden with peas and strawberries and your kitchen with pickles, preserves and much more. Available from newsagents and abcmagazines.com.au.
ABC Sport Digital Radio. Your home of AFL. On ABC Sport, the Saturday Sledge with Zane Bojack. The sports stories that get you talking.
Oscar Piastri wins the Miami Grand Prix. 3 Grand Prix victories in a row. The first McLaren driver to do that since 1998. It's a 1-2 for the team.
Well done, Oscar. Great job. Really smooth. Pace was phenomenal.
Nicely done. Yeah, nicely done, all right. What a performance from McLaren driver and proud Australian Oscar Piastri. He became the first McLaren driver since Mika Hakkinen in 1998 to win 3 consecutive Grand Prix, with his 6th career win and 4th of the season on the streets of Miami this week. But since there's been a lot of stories and intrigue into how McLaren's staying so dominant, as well as the fact that fellow Aussie driver Jack Doohan's been dropped off the grid to reserve driver status at Alpine, and all this while the supercars burn around Simmons Plains in Tasmania this weekend, where I'll find my next guest, Richard Crail, this afternoon. How are you, Richard?
I'm really good. It's really cold down here, but there's blue skies, and I've organised some authentic Supercars noises in the background of this for you. So here at Simmons Plains for the next round of the Supercars Championship, and looking forward to a big weekend with the V8s. But, yeah, there's lots going on in the Formula One world as well.
Yeah, there certainly is. We'll talk about the Supercars in a minute, but you just heard the audio. How special is our Oscar, And is a World Championship now a likely outcome, not a possible outcome?
Oh, I don't know if I want to go likely yet. And as Oscar said in an interview during the week, we're only a quarter of the way in. We're 6 of 24 races. So there's a lot of racing to go before we can start talking about a World Championship. But we're witnessing something really special. And it's the sort of culmination of Oscar's journey, but also McLaren and their rebuild they've had over the last couple of years and building themselves up to being a powerhouse in Formula One again, which in itself is an amazing story for Formula One because they are one of the most iconic and famous teams. But the fact that that's corresponded with Oscar joining that outfit, the fact that it's come with him in this really intense inter-team battle with Lando Norris, and right now he's got the upper hand. There's so many elements to it that make it satisfying. But, do you know, Zane, I was thinking the other day, this is generational. The last Australian to win a Formula One World Championship was Alan Jones in 1980. So, you know, my old man, I'm in my 40s now. I've now got young nephews who are enjoying Formula One watching it. So it's been generations since we've seen an Aussie in this good a position and in with a shot to win a world title as Oscar is now. So long way to go. Hopefully can capitalise and come December we can be celebrating a world title.
Yeah, it was nice. I actually got to chat to Alan Jones through the week, and he was obviously very impressed with what Oscar is doing, and he wants to get rid of that last Aussie to win an F1 title. He's very happy to get rid of that title. Look, you mentioned the rebuild for McLaren. Red Bull, who have been the star team in recent years, of course, last year got beaten for the Constructors' Championship. They